Home ain't ever what you wanted it to be. So you packed your things and you left. Took a train, left somewhere out west, and you found what looks like hope. You take that little bit of change you got in your pocket and you build a ranch, maybe a nice little family. But unfortunately, there's never hope. Welcome to Crystal Grit. Mind your pistols now.
And hello, everybody. Howdy. That's what I should say. I shouldn't say hello. I should say howdy, y'all. Welcome back to this here session of 5, I believe, of Whispers in the Dust, which is our fantasy. I keep wanting to say Weird West, but that is a thing, and it is not what we're doing. But our Fantasy West campaign here on Hard Knock Dice. We've been gone. Now we're not anymore. For like another 2 weeks, and then we're gonna be gone again. But that's how it is this time of year. It'll be like that. But welcome. We're gonna do cowboy things. Dumb. Who knows? But before we get into that, real quick, anything going on? Any new fun and exciting? I've not missed any birthdays. I don't think. I think they've all passed for the year. I think we're good for a month. Well, in that case, real quick, if somebody could do exclamation point charity off on the side. We are raising life. We are, from a certain point of view, we are raising money for the Children's Healthcare Atlanta. So open your heart wallets, click that link, donate what you can. Every little bit counts. It makes you lawful like a cool person. So do that and donate what you can. We appreciate it. Other than that, I don't think we have anything else weird. We return again also on Saturday. We'll be back on Saturday with our Saturday game. I'll repeat that again at the end of the session. That being said, let's pew cowboy times.
Hell yeah.
Last yeehaw, last time on Whispers in the Dust. Our party of vagabonds, vagrants, gunslingers even, were traveling for various reasons. Some, mostly because the mob boss / mayor of Crystal Grit, Desmond Sinclair, asked them to. Others because they want to fucking kill somebody. And some just out of curiosity are traveling from the town of Crystal Grit to the town of Picton, a smaller and much less prosperous mining town here within the frontier that is Eucryptidal. They are, of course, pursuing a gang known as the Worm Riders, led by one Silas Silvershot Granger, who had robbed a caravan, which was largely filled with ill-gotten, or at the very least smuggled goods that had belonged to Desmond Sinclair and Crystal Grit. They had stolen them, and apparently at least one thing which was quite valuable, as well as having stolen Sarah Bell's companion or previous long separated friend, Genevieve. There we go. I knew it was a J sound in there. Genevieve. And as well as housing the mercenaries, bounty hunters, individuals who had murdered Mr. King's family, as well as stealing his wife. So killed his kid, took his wife, and as far as they're aware, she is still alive. But as they made their way traveling to Picton, they've been doing pretty all right. Nothing too terribly wild and crazy has happened. They met some, fanatics might be a strong word, some followers of the Holy Frijoles, I'm just losing everything about my entire setting. The Radiant, followers of the Radiant, the one god of this setting, who seemed to be kind of not particularly rich. They were definitely a little on the poorer side, but they seemed all right enough people, and so they were allowed to live by our party. Nobody killed no one. They were given some advice on both sides to go careful, as well as that the family should maybe stick in Crystal Grit for a little bit because things were a little spicy thereabouts. So maybe once they got to Crystal Grit, they should hang out for a while. And lastly, the last thing that happened, our party ran afoul of an Earth Elemental. And a little upset. They fucked it up really bad. It landed one attack in 2 rounds. It took them to kill it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe that Earth Elemental ran afoul of us.
I suppose. It had a bad time. Which not an entirely unheard of occurrence, but still definitely a little strange at times. The Earth Elementals don't tend to be super aggressive, don't tend to move far from their burrows and layers deep beneath the earth. But in investigating the surrounding area, Geist discovered a secondary scene of attack that he very quickly determined had nothing to do with an Earth Elemental, noting less grouped up shell casings. There weren't somebody just sitting and standing and firing, just unloading into one of these colossal titans, but somebody who was fighting something that was fast and was chasing them. At the end of the trail of casings and light amounts of blood spatter, he came across a stone, a boulder, if you would, where there was the mangled remains of a revolver, as well as deep gashes left by claws in the boulder itself. And that is where we ended last session. So, gunslingers, vagrants, vagabonds, namely Mr. Geist, this is what you've just seen. You have found this blood trail. The blood on the rock, on the boulder, the stone is dried. It is far from fresh. What are you doing?
First, I'm going to make sure my mic doesn't sound terrible. How are we doing now?
It's I suppose.
Passable then. So he is. We're picking up like right as he found that, right?
Yeah,
and kind
right
of piece
after
together.
right after you find that, yeah.
Gotcha. I can't remember if he was able to. No, I did. I was able to piece together that whatever the slash was into the rock was also what took the barrel off the gun or damaged the gun.
Maybe not one and the same, but I mean the slice on the barrel, like across the revolver, is clean. It does not look like something ripped it, something cut through it. And the same, like whatever sliced through the boulder, sliced through it. It did not like just dig furrows into it, like it cut through the stone.
Probably being a not outdoors person who is already uncomfortable being out in the wilderness, quick look around like, oh shit, is this thing nearby? Was able to determine how old this was.
I don't believe you had rolled for it. You are welcome to roll for it now. That would be a survival check.
A survival check. I do not have survival, so that will probably be not lovely.
Did we establish that elementals usually ran in packs?
They generally speaking, well, they usually live in like colonies.
Right.
And that's usually where they usually keep to their colonies deep beneath the earth. Occasionally, when they are encountered above ground, they're usually encountered in like 1s and 2s because those are ones that have wandered. They were drawn as individuals by like something specific. They're not usually encountered in groups above ground. Otherwise, Eucryptidal would not be nearly as populated as it is.
Take a lot more gunpowder to tame that particular frontier.
Mm-hmm.
So my total was a 14. My glorious +2 from wisdom only.
I mean, I'll say with the 14 that you're not sure how long, like, you just examining the gun barrel and examining the rock, you're like, I don't know. But with the blood, I'll say with a 14, you imagine it's within maybe 1-2 weeks, maybe a little over a week, maybe a little under.
Oh, but it's not like earlier today kind of thing.
No.
Okay. Who is nearest to me right now?
Entirely up to you guys. You had stepped off on your own.
Yeah, I was
So
figured
party.
it'd probably be.
Callie
Go ahead.
was with the professor. We were making that perimeter check. So I think if I am not right with you, I am like maybe 30 feet from y'all, or from the professor.
Gotcha. Yeah, just a quick. Callie.
Yes.
Perhaps you want to take a look at this. One
What
of
a
the
cliche.
outdoorsy folks. He's
I-
just kind of looking at this, trying to imagine what kind of creature has done this, because all of his conflicts have been of the humanoid variety.
I will use number 3 of my divine sense to see if this is if I pick up any of that fiendish stuff that I've been experiencing.
Sure. So, do a quick scan of your divine sense. It's still like, obviously, divine sense's primary purpose is to tell when something is like actively around.
Right.
Being able to sense anything at all when it's not there, ominous. And I will say, quite frankly, that is not something you've ever encountered before, probably.
Right, which is why I'm a little bit upset and worried about all of that. Yeah.
And I will say, you do have that same sense. It is slightly, you're not quite sure. Maybe it's a little stronger here. Maybe it was here slightly closer in time ago, because I can't think of my right words. But is that same sense of like primarily fiendish with like just like a slick of necromancy or undead.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Does it seem likely that maybe whatever passed through here it was following, or maybe fought with it with some necromantic magic or something like that, or does it seem like it's infused with it in some manner?
This seems like the creature itself. These aren't senses like side by side, like necromancy and undead, and
Yeah,
then fiendish.
it's
It is
all
like
contained in
one
one.
and the same.
Yeah. Okay. And then I
Um,
guess, can I also make a
A survival check.
survival? Yeah.
You can certainly try. Yeah.
That's only going to
Um,
be an 11. That's not any better than his. So.
You're even less sure, quite frankly. You're like, the blood is within the month at least, and that's
Right.
just from even with as little as it rains, like dust and a little bit of water would have been gone by now.
I believe both the way you had described it and because my investigation check was much higher than my survival
Right.
check, I did determine that this seems to have been claws, right? It was multiple parallel.
Yes. Like, yeah, you can
slashes.
see like parallel lines and stuff here.
And you also described the metal shearing as being like slightly torn, like it wasn't.
No,
It's like
opposite of that. It was clean.
They're just like smooth as butter, just cut right through.
As close as, yeah. Like it does not look like something ripped it just with like mostly brute force. Like, obviously, not glass smooth, but whatever cut through it pretty easily. All things considered.
Don't love that. Is this all super flat? I know I'm just asking a fuckload of questions. Is this all super flat, or is there Are there any like hillocks? Are we in like a dip? Like what's the?
I don't know if you remember the combat map. It's not like a completely flat plain. There are areas that are like that, but the area where y'all are currently in there are not big hills. There are some slightly more hilly places that you could like that like your first thought is like this could serve as cover if I was laying prone, but it would not conceal a ton unless somebody was really working at it. It couldn't conceal people by accident.
So we can see pretty clearly the surrounding territory without much interruption.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Whatever it is, I don't think it's still around. Probably should get going. Might
Yes,
return.
I do think that is for the best. Have been getting a sense of ominous feeling of a fiend that not following us, but we sure are following it. So
Fiends, like an entire fiend.
quite frankly,
As
Professor,
opposed to fiendish magic or arts or something.
Quite frankly, Professor, I don't know. This is the first time I've ever felt something like this. And frankly, it is a bit upsetting.
Wasn't just to you. Quick interjection, DM. We also determined that with Geist's free investigation roll, he knew that Earth Elemental was behaving oddly, correct?
It did seem like it was enraged, yes.
We're not the only ones that have been discomforted. Our rocky friend there was also not exactly acting within what I understand to be their normal range of behaviors, so I think we should be on our way.
Right. I do believe that to be the case as well. Let's go back to our party, shall we?
Hey, party. I think we're like
Party,
60
it's
feet
a
away or
party.
something.
Something like that, yeah. Maybe a little more than that.
He will grab the broken firearm.
Sure.
And there was nothing else there. It was just the firearm, right?
That's all that you saw, yeah.
Do you show anyone else in the party the broken firearm?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
He's probably like holding it and looking at it as he walks up.
What kind of check would it be to investigate what might have actually done that to the firearm?
I would. You're initially. I mean, it would be a survival check.
Okay.
So I mean, because the visual of what this is like the
Oh gosh.
the revolver. It didn't just cut off the barrel. It cut off the barrel and like part of the cylinder. Like it cut fairly high on the firearm.
No, sorry, it's not. I just realized that I cannot see my dice with these glasses.
So that means you have to librarian it. You have to put them on the tip of your nose, and look over over your
but-
rims.
It's 14 plus 5 for 19.
For a 19. I'd say in Clyde's experience, that maybe a particularly like ancient earth elemental, maybe one that was just that strong, or maybe leaning on your previous profession, very very well crafted magical blades.
Okay.
Could maybe do that, like a magical cutting surface could do that to regular metal when swung with enough force.
All right. Yeah, I'll convey that to the party. It was either magical blade or some elemental real old.
Are there any signs of disease on the elemental?
Any signs of disease?
Yes.
An
Roll
elemental
a
disease.
knowledge arcana.
It's got quartz on it. Ugh. Don't want quartz growing on it.
14.
14.
Clumps here and there.
I'm just gonna kind of say like what you're looking for is kind of what Cerebell would equate to disease for a magical construct, which would be more of like if it had been altered or tampered with, like some if some enchantment or like transmutation magic that had been enforced so heavily that it had basically become permanent. But you do not see any evidence of anything like that.
And this looks like a healthy earth elemental from what I can tell. I mean, most of my experience with diseases are humanoids in nature. But
I'm
there's
not
no
even
rot.
sure that a rock can get a cough, can it?
It's alive, isn't it?
Not
Sound a
anymore.
little gravelly.
I imagine most things that are alive, if not all things that are alive, have disease.
Well, be that as it may, dear friends, we should probably find a different place for our respite this evening. I don't particularly want to be around if the companions of this creature comes and retrieves its body. So let's grab what our little things that we've placed down for the evening and head maybe a mile or so up the road.
I think that's a wise decision.
I agree.
Yeah.
And as we move, is anyone adept at repairing weapons? It seems my revolver has met with an ill fate.
I can try my hand at it. But
I would appreciate it. Maybe when we get to our new camp, we could take a few moments and you could give it a look.
Just to go ahead and ask, what tools are you proficient with, Cerebell?
Tinker's tools, thieves' tools, leather workers' tools, herbalism kit, alchemist supplies.
Tinker's tools would definitely would apply. So, like, I'd say probably Tinker's tools or blacksmithing tools either would suffice for something of that nature. All right. So, anything else from anybody, or as y'all are y'all just traveling about a mile or so up the road, get a little away from where you guys are currently?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the plan. It's just like about a mile up the road and yeah.
All right, cool. Easy enough. Yes, travel a little cautious, keeping a weather eye out for a fiendish entity, perhaps, or other or discontented earth elementals, as it were.
Just a quick question. I feel like some of us in the area would know. Does our earth elemental's body go for anything by chance, or is it just once it's disanimated, like parts of its rocky body? I have no clue.
It's a good question. I don't know why I didn't really think of that. I'm gonna go with probably not so much.
It turns like the regular rock once it's
Yeah, it's like it's stone. I mean, maybe there are some like super nerds who may feel like they could glean some information. Basically, it's not worth the trouble of hauling,
right.
a significant amount of it to where there'd be somebody who would pay for it. Because basically, you figure, unless you just got really lucky, the only person who would want to purchase a Earth Elemental corpse would be in one of the two coast cities.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. And then just to make sure, because it's been a minute since we played, we did see like a big hole in the middle of this thing, like from one of the professor's guns or something.
Yes, guys put a fucking like
But
a hole the size of like 2 softballs through its chest.
Right. Prior to us fighting it, though, we saw some damage.
Yeah, you saw damage. Yes,
but we didn't see
looked
anything
like it
as
had.
big as
Right.
big as
No, nothing anywhere near. Like it looks like more like smaller arms fire, and smaller being a very relative term, but like the rifles that you guys carry and like revolvers and things of that nature. Whoever fought it didn't have a gun as big as Geist's.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you described it as like little nicks and dinks, like
Chips
if
and
someone
dings
had
and
shot a
everything.
rock with like a 9mm kind of thing.
Like somebody was shooting it with just like straight up mechanical terms. Somebody was shooting with non-magical ammunition, and they didn't kill it.
And we haven't seen any evidence of a struggle this far, so it's probably happened either closer to Picton or further out in the wilderness. Okay.
Like a fairly easy piece of information is like they're earth elementals. They basically would heal in such a way of like that battle wear does not like stick around for them. So that means it was also relatively recent.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll keep my eyes out while we're going down the road this mile and just see if we see signs of that fight happening somewhere.
Roll a perception check for me, I suppose.
Sure. I don't think I'm very good at these. I think I get +3. Yep. I'm learning this character. That's a natural 19 though for 22.
That's right. For 22, also you don't see evidence of a conflict of that nature. With it, 22 is really fucking good roll though, so I'll say just kind of distantly, like just looking out, keeping a really keen eye looking for these things. You do see like maybe it's this earth elemental, maybe it was others. There are signs of like that you guys have been seeing a lot. Like there's disturbances of at the very least relatively recent earth elemental movement, kind of dotted all around.
Gotcha.
Like some of it's pretty far out, like just barely on the edge of how far you could make out details, but
in that case, I imagine Alistair usually like trails lazily behind everyone else as he's one to do. I'll kick it into high gear for a moment and try to get in the middle of the group here and say, point it out to everybody and just say, it seems our rocky friends are finding their way closer and closer to the road, which is out of place as well.
Definitely unordinary. They generally keep to themselves unless they have a particularly good reason.
Right.
That the only detail we were able to see.
I mean, I'll relay everything Ian just told me to you guys. Yeah. So
I just figured that was something that guys would have asked as a follow-up.
yeah. No, that I can tell. It just seems like there's traveling next to the road a lot more. I don't see any evidence of the fight that we saw on the elemental itself, but I do find it interesting that they're here closer to the road. Either they're looking for something, or maybe someone's directing them. I don't know. Do you think they've unionized? God knows that'd be scary.
I've never heard of a
too.
union before. How
Consortium.
do elementals reproduce? Do they?
Is that an Arcana check, Dean?
Yeah, that'd be an Arcana check. Yeah.
Lots
Would
of
that have been on
Arcana
the,
or history, I suppose, could suffice if you were trained in it.
would that perhaps fall under the pre-research role of 23 on what Geist knows about?
Oh, yeah,
Earth
I'd
elements.
say so. What everybody else who already rolled, what was that roll?
14.
10.
Said 14 and what?
10.
10? 10, you have no fucking idea. 14, you know more of them have to come from somewhere. Like either you know that they do, you know, if they reproduce exactly, but they are formed somehow. With the 23, yeah, it like more detail is you know they do not like copulate. Like they do not make little earth elemental babies, but they do they grow in like areas that are particularly either like close to the elemental plane of earth, like where kind of the planes are a little closer together, where that barrier is thinner, or in like, you know, that some, like if there are like naturally forming stones, and this is probably the case where there would only be like a like valuable like naturally magically infused piece of stone, or even like a gemstone or something, it would kind of gravitate around it until it builds up becoming an earth elemental. And to go ahead, those stones have not been found to reside within. It basically seems like once the earth elemental forms, like the magic that core has to spread until basically it's undistinguishable from all the rest of the stone that that consists of the earth elemental.
Mr.
Muted.
Professor Dumont, I think you got some trail dust in your throat as we cannot hear what you're saying.
My apologies. I was simply saying, and that is how they procreate, as it were.
All right. So my theory of maybe somebody took an earth elemental baby has gone out the window.
Oh, that's where you're going with that.
Hey, what did you think?
I don't know. I was worried about what your dear Genevieve would think about you asking about rock elementals in that way.
Oh,
I'm just playing with you, Miss Sarah Bell. A little bit of light
Brief
humor for
flash
the
of
road.
horror.
I would never.
All right,
That's where
my
you draw the
dear
line,
friends,
then.
let's find a spot. And I do believe that we should not make ourselves too comfortable this evening. Not with the current excitement we've just had.
Let's
Sounds
continue.
reasonable.
Set up camp.
Yeah, set up a camp. It's not in quite as an ideal spot as you guys had previously scouted out, but it'll do, especially as there's no immediate. I'm assuming y'all are being pretty thorough. You do not see immediate like earth elemental furrows or anything in your immediate camping area. This is safe, maybe a strong word, but more secure at the very least. I'll set up and get ready for bed. Is there anything anybody else wants to do for the evening?
Just
Somebody to fix my gun.
That's right.
that Sarabelle would do that, but while she was doing that, John would take Alistar just a plate or of food.
Did John make this food?
Mm-mm.
John a cook? Okay.
He just would have gotten it from whenever he's eating.
Right. I just had a mental image of a little chef hat like hung on the corner of the wagon.
Yeah, he's a 5-star chef.
Anyway, but Mr. Dotry, you have food delivered to you by John at some point.
Thank you, Mr. John. It's smells delicious.
Just
Fist bump.
Ugh.
it is very clammy.
Mine too.
Do you want me to roll for the
Yeah, roll a Tinker's Tools check.
let's see. What do I add to that?
Intelligence.
Would you require me to have proficiency in Tinker tools to give the help action?
Yeah.
Okay. Agatha will head over to you and help you out.
This is one of those where definitely like just an extra pair of hands to hold things still and stuff would suffice.
Okay, that was kind of cool. So originally rolled a 5. I hit it with another dice, and they both turned over to 18.
He's hacking.
Yep. So that is 23 plus
23.
proficiency, right?
Yeah.
So 25.
25. Very nice. Very, very nice. Easy enough. Like this, it's definitely, the damage is bad enough that it was going to keep it from working properly. Like it looks like, it backfired. And so there's a slight, like in the middle of the barrel, there's a bit of a bulge, as well as the cylinder where where that bullet had been is slightly cracked. But you are very good at what you do and are also magically inclined as an artificer. And so with a pretty short amount of time, I'll say with a 23, you're able to repair it back into normal working order.
Question.
Yeah.
So there's 2 things I only want to do one of the 2 things. Could I put a little bit of magic stink in there? Give it a little bit
What do you mean?
the same little effect that is on the professor's gun.
Can you do 2 of the same one?
I'm just saying a visual for it.
Oh, visually, sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Like you would have a little bit of magical waft that will stick around for a little bit, but it obviously does not function as a +1 firearm.
Mhm.
Or a repeating firearm, I think is what you put on his specifically.
Yeah.
Thank you
Alright.
so much, my dear. I can't believe you were able to fix it like that. I did not know you had those skills.
Neither did I until I put my mind to it.
Well, when we get... Oh, you've what, darling?
I'm mostly an artiste of the flesh, but apparently I'm also an artiste of metal.
I would say so, my dear. You are definitely an artiste. When we get back, remind me to give you a bonus on your first paycheck, and also we'll have Pax make you a little extra something sometime. You let him know what you like. He's so wonderful at that. But I do appreciate your help, dear.
Thank you kindly, ma'am.
I haven't given them a separate name, so I'm not gonna bother. I'll honestly say that Cerebell probably where like you treated this like treating a Warforged. There are, like automatons that are basically fully sentient. There aren't tons of them, and don't have the same creation myth as Eberron. So they were not armies of Warforged wandering around at any point. But it's one of those things where it's a cycle of some wizards and mages and other artificers. They really pursue that, like, I want to make the best construct, and so with relatively eerie frequency, someone will create effectively a Warforged. And I'll say you've probably run into a couple. And that's how you kind of, you're like, well, it's the same. I mean, they're made out of metal and wood. This is made out of metal and wood. It works. Anyway. Anything else for anybody tonight?
Oh, go ahead.
This isn't anything that would probably require a roll. It is mostly narrative, but before falling into the regular routines of their evening, guys should have probably been paying particular attention to the ground and such. Looking for, make sure they're not going to get jumped by another Rocky Boy in the middle of the night.
That's fair. Like I said, when y'all purposely set up camp, somewhere you saw like a good radius of no disturbance. Mr. Dotry?
One thing I would do is just when everybody's off having watch or whatever the case is, just in the back of my wagon, I'd pull out, and probably Agatha Leavis got a lamp in there, low lit, just sort of leaning against the back of the wagon. Alistair's flipping an old iron coin around his knuckles, looking at it. Seems your stink has reached this side of the ocean, you old son of a bitch. And that's it.
Lovely.
And Bill probably will just, making the usual, checking on everybody, making sure everybody's got what they need. If anybody wants to play cards, or if they're looking for company, she's going to make sure that nobody feels left alone.
Wonderful.
Cerebell will be dressing down John a little bit. But past that.
Poor guy. All right. I
Glad
don't
keeps
know
himself.
what that looks like, but I kind of don't wanna. A conciliatory cart with arms? I don't want to know what that looks like. I'm good. That's weird visuals. All right. Y'all go to sleep. Watches are taken. Vigilance maintained at a constant. But nothing happens. Oh, good. I think I would do it to you twice in a row. No.
100%.
What is that? What the fuck?
Absolutely
Come on,
would.
Brady.
Never. I would never.
Ain't afraid no ghosts.
Slander.
Pretty sure you literally threatened us with this right before the stream started. This
I did not.
actual words from your mouth is I'll fucking do it again.
You're like, we have the
Man.
battle map. We have the battle
I don't
map.
know. I feel like
Ian?
that's
No,
a
not my
monster.
friend.
Maybe we can go back.
Goodness
I would
gracious.
never. I would never. Sun rises. You all wake, not punctured or smushed or slashed. Not any more than when you went to bed, anyway.
Yeah, Clyde.
Where'd you go?
What?
What?
I was just gonna say, Clyde, make sure to try to keep everyone up and going.
Donnie on the
Get
spot.
people moving. We got places to be, people to murderate.
Yeah, and that was your 4th day of travel, I believe. So this
Something like
is
that. Yeah, we've been
the morning
traveling.
of the 5th. Yeah.
Sounds right.
And y'all know that you should only have like 2.5 maybe days of travel ish, give or take. Question: anybody have any plans for the day? Any actions you'll be taking? Declare them now.
We are getting closer, like within a day or two's travel of the settlement that we are heading to, that is our destination. This is about the juncture from here till we get there, where Geist is going to be looking for like fallback points, potential sentry spots, all of the stuff that a man who is a much more tactically minded individual than I am would be looking for at the approach to a area of operations.
All right. Keep an eye out for tactically advantageous or disadvantageous things in the landscape. Easy enough to know.
Specifically, if there is a particularly good fallback point, the one that would need to be communicated to the party would be like, shit goes completely sideways. That's where we want to come back to. That kind of thing.
Are you a professor of geography? Oh, whoa, Mr. Dumont. Professor Dumont, my
Professor.
apologies.
Professor of whatever I need to be to get the job done.
Interesting.
He will probably follow up with a wink and a wait till you see what else I am besides a professor.
He's also a fancy man.
Happily taken. Thank you, though.
He will chuckle.
Gracious. So that is what Geist is doing. Anything else? Anybody? Any other actions for the day?
Just looking out for the same thing I was the day before with like earth elemental disturbances or anything like that.
Just go ahead and roll me another perception check just for the day.
Oh,
Same.
good on this roll as well. 17 plus 3 for a dirty 20.
30, 20.
I've rolled a 1, so distracted.
Just. Yeah, you're just out of it. All day.
It's that stinky gun.
Instant thought. It is. It's little.
Smells like pickled
Pungent.
onions that were left out.
It was fine until you said left out.
Yeah, that's what I was like. They were left out for a little bit too long.
Goodness.
Sarabelle will be looking for cult signs, specifically ones that Genevieve would have left behind. But in general, just cult signs in general.
Okay.
But she would be looking for anything that Genevieve would have left behind.
Okay. And you can roll a perception check for me as well.
16 plus 2 is 18.
18. Yeah. Any other perceiving anybody's wanting to do for the day? Cool.
To proceed faster.
If you'd like to proceed faster.
Yes.
Good luck with that. Anyway, so we'll start from the bottom and go up. So 18. Look as you might. I'll say with an 18, you do see signs of like spots where people camp, but at the very least, without the the time to stop and examine any of these places, at a glance, you do not note anything that looks like it was obviously left by Genevieve or anything that obviously has to do with the cult. Then with our dirty 20, that's keeping an eye out for general earth elemental disturbance and specifically like signs of conflict.
Yeah.
Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Very specifically. A dirty 20 is good. So I'm going to say that as you travel along, you do continue to see, and I know how I described it yesterday. It sounded like it was really dense. That's not exactly dense. There's not like tons of little like burrows and furrows, but enough that it is noticeable, right? And it continues to be this way throughout the day. I'll say the closest you get to seeing signs of conflict, I mean, I think you can probably assume, but there are a few spots where it looks like even after some time has passed, like instead of just a furrow, that looks like maybe that's where an earth elemental surfaced. Like it looks more disturbed and it's taking more time to settle. So you see it, and you see that in a couple places throughout the day. So you can infer that if it surfaced, it probably surfaced to fuck with something. But whether that was left by that elemental y'all fought or a different one, you're unsure. And this is like throughout the entire day, you see a couple places where you're pretty certain they surfaced.
Gotcha.
We appear to be having some technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen, so I do apologize. Hopefully they'll be being resolved shortly. But as far as I'm aware, those are the only actions for the day. I'm gonna say it out loud, even though he can't hear me, just so that it's on the record. Geist is able to spot some likely fallback areas, some like relatively like this is a good landmark. It is one of the like larger hills. It has a weirdly shaped like tree on it that was struck by lightning, like hard to miss as long as it's pointed out to you guys. And like I said, so throughout this day of travel, I'd say probably he'll notice that about half-ish way through the day. So it'd be about 2 full days of travel from Picton. Obviously, if y'all are hauling ass trying to regroup or or riding hard through the night, it'd be faster. That being said, quiet. Don't pass any other travelers. No more earth elemental attacks.
More zealots.
No zealots. Believe it or not, every single member of that family was like a 10th level zealot barbarian. God
Just
is
the one
real
you're
and he
with.
is powerful.
It's a good thing we didn't do anything
Yeah,
then.
oh yeah, that'd be crazy. Even like the 6-year-old, like they were sent to this land to be tested. All right, and they fucking got XP.
The kid hits the gym every day.
That you can't see their muscles because they're powered by faith. Like that's where their strength comes from. Anyway,
Get wisdom, the strength checks.
no, they're just magically buff. But no signs of earth elementals. No signs of much alive, period. Quite frankly. And earth elementals are far from the only danger in Eucryptial. There are aberrations and just magic, not beasts. Quite frankly, there's not much beasts, categorically speaking, in Eucryptial unless they're really big. There we go. Monstrosities is what I was looking for. But there are plenty of other dangers, and y'all aren't seeing really much of anything. More or less the only living things y'all see are flying. as the day draws to a close. I assume you guys are just going to set up for the night, right?
Yeah.
Close of the 5th day.
Do we know what about? You said what time of day would we arrive?
Y'all will be arriving around like a half day of travel, so
Okay.
depending on, assuming like y'all have been continuing to get early mornings, y'all will get there probably close to noon, maybe a little before, since Clyde's been getting everybody up like playing, get up. But yeah, so sometime maybe a little before noon. So go to sleep. And how many of you guys are there? How many watches did we determine y'all had to take?
I think we did 3 with 2s.
Did you do 3 2s and then?
I can
Yeah.
take 2 watches.
That's right. And then we had 2 watches out of 4, or no, 1 watch out of 4 that was somebody like solo dolo with just John, right? Is how that ended up. So y'all were able to have 4 watches.
No, I think it was.
Or did you just take 2?
I think it was me and the professor on one shift, me and maybe John on another, and then it was Mr. King and Bell on a shift.
Okay. I
I
just need
was
y'all
on
to tell
one.
me who would have been who's y'all's last watch for tonight.
I'll take last watch this time.
Okay.
I think I was second.
Second. So anybody, is it just?
I can bookend it. I'll take the first watch and the last
Yeah.
watch because I only need the 4 hours. So
Gotcha. Is anybody taking that 4th watch with her?
I mean, I don't think most of us can do multiple watches, can we?
Well, if yeah. So basically, Callie's someone is taking a watch by themselves. So Callie, you're the
I
only
can
one.
do that. I can do
Okay.
that. Yeah, that's no problem.
All right. I would like you to roll a wisdom saving throw.
Is this a charmed effect?
No.
Okay. Just one. That 20.
Natural 20.
Shit.
What's that bring your total to?
Oh no! Oh
A
no!
wisdom saving throw. 22.
22.
And I'm proficient in that. That's what the little dot means.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm proficient in wisdom saving throws. So 22.
2. Oh wait, you're an elf, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Which is why I asked about the charms thing, because I was like, I cannot be charmed
Oh, I know.
or
Yep,
put
I
to
know.
sleep.
I know. A little different, kind of, but not really.
I cast fist to put you to sleep.
Unconscious. The rest of you, Callie, you're taking your watch. You don't see anything. Slow purple to orange as the sun is beginning to rise. You know that soon everybody will be waking up and y'all be getting on your way. Everybody else, though, my sleepy squad, you are in the dark. Pitch black night with only the stars and the barest sliver of moon illuminating the landscape. You see a tall, fortress-like structure. Lights dotting its towers, manning its walls. Ever so slight smudges of people silhouetted against it patrolling. outside the walls of this fortress, spreading out town. Not built so sturdily. Much more temporary. The fortress was definitely here first. And same lights. Much fewer as it's very late, so not very many people are awake. These lights. A few faint smudges. Some of them carrying torches of their own. And you are hungry. So desperately, achingly hungry. It's an ache that radiates from the pit of your stomach out up into your chest, into your arms, snaking down into your long clawed fingertips. You're hungry. And in the pit of the center of your chest, there's this pulsing. Not of a heartbeat, it's too regular. Boom. Boom. More of a boom. And every time it does, that hunger eases ever so slightly. What do you do? I want everybody to answer.
Are we experiencing this as ourselves? Do I have a memory of being Geist?
Roll a wisdom saving throw. Actually, everybody roll a wisdom saving throw. That's a good question.
Very well.
Do you want me to roll another one?
No,
Or...
no.
Oh, okay.
You are not experiencing this. You're on one.
Oh my god.
15.
15? Okay.
11.
15.
15.
16.
17.
That's a lot of 15s. I will say for my 15s and my 15s and 17, you ever so slightly remember yourself. Like you have a twinge, like it's almost like a fading memory. My 11, no. You are hungry, and going into that town will save you.
Dan, would you
Go ahead.
say memories of early life or life out on the range?
Good question. Mostly out on the range.
Okay. That changes things drastically.
So, with that knowledge, what do
Alistair,
you do?
I think just since if we want to go from who failed first, Alistair, I don't think is any stranger. Even though I have no memory of myself, I don't think I'm any stranger to having this sort of like dark hunger. And I don't think I'm gonna have any problem sating that hunger. As you said, I need to go into the town to sate it.
You know, going into that town, you almost feel drawn, like that pulsing in your chest. When it draws, it seems to draw like directionally, like you can feel like that pulse as it sates you that ever so little bit. Most of that little bit is coming from in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm running on instinct, so the first thing I'm gonna do is look down at my hands and see what kind of tools I'm working with.
Okay. Everybody else?
You go ahead.
Sarah Bell, with what she remembers, what very little she remembers, will know that this is not only her hunger that she's sating, and that by going into the town, that she'll be providing for something bigger than her.
Okay.
So she'll partake in her worship.
So
willingly.
proceeding into the town. Everybody else
Going in.
going in. Got it.
A brief hesitation as his memories of himself slip away, but ultimately he will embrace it as a relief, and he will head into the town.
Who are y'all? No. So Belle would look down for Gus, look around for Gus.
Try to look around for Gus. Okay, everybody roll a d20. I want you to tell me who got the highest roll.
Me.
Probably not me. 9.
Probably not me.
It was me.
So I heard a
Not me.
9. Tell me your numbers. We got 9.
20.
12.
12, you said you got a
17.
20?
20.
20. I assume nobody else rolled the natural 20. Okay. In that moment of decision, you experience exactly what you guys just did. Multiple draws. Like, some of the instincts are the same. Some of them are to look down before proceeding. Some of them are to look around before proceeding. And 3 of them actually align. But within your own head, you hear the breakdown of what you guys all said. You hear that all in simultaneously. I look down at my hands, see what I'm working with. I'm proceeding down to sate my curiosity. I am sating a higher being than myself. This is a relief. I'm looking for someone. All of it. It pulls in a bunch of different directions, but we're snapping back together and prowling down into the town. And as you guys enter, feel that same pulse, and it's stronger. That direction of where that pull is coming, just ever so slightly stronger, it becomes clearer and clearer as you go through. Screams, silenced. Lights, out. Weapons, sundered. Walls, smashed. As you proceed towards the keep. And the pulse gets stronger as you go. And then you all wake up.
Do we remember the dream?
Yeah, that was about to be my question too.
Vividly.
Oh, vividly.
PM, would my whip of warning have had anything?
No.
Would it have impacted me at all? Okay.
So
Not-
we just remember entering the town that is ruined and fucked or area.
It was whole and lively in the dream, and
Till we
you
got
remember creating a swath of destruction.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we
would,
remember what we did.
Correct.
would I have known that I was I succeeded against this? Okay.
Unaware.
Sarah Bell wake up, just licking her lips. Just kind of unconsciously.
This is an odd question. Can I make an insight check to see, like, remembering back, like, do I think this was something like outside influence, or do I think like maybe that this is me saying, all right, the hunger is back and I need to hurry up a timeline?
You can certainly try.
+3. Go to work. I'm really good on these 3. 21.
21.
18
That's
plus 3.
certainly not how it has ever manifested before. This is different.
This is hella different.
Yeah, this is very different. It was too detailed, I'll say. It's always been vague before. It's always seemed to kind of reflect your feelings on things and your desire for things to be interesting. This was not, outside of it being you, it wasn't very interesting. It was very straightforward.
I'll gently brush Agatha's hair out of her face. Let's see. My love, did you have any strange dreams last night?
She's trying to maintain composure, but she definitely looks a little shaken. Yes, I did. It was unique.
Yeah. I'll just take the back of my hand across her cheek. Don't need to worry.
All right. Okay.
You say that we remember this dream vividly and the things that were done.
Yep.
Do we remember how they were done?
Yeah, I'd say so. And I mean, with your investigation check from previously, the method seems familiar. Strong, clawed. This thing was a juggernaut going through this town. It didn't seem like anything much really even hurt it all that much.
So, and then just to clarify from your description, we were all simultaneously experiencing the actions of one being. We weren't all manifesting like a pack of these things as it rampaged through a town.
One.
Yeah, it seems like we were different thought processes for this thing.
Gotcha. Wake up, just looking at his hands.
Being conscious now. Can I just get an intelligence check from everybody? Minus Callie, of course. You missed out on the fun.
11.
11?
7.
7. Jesus.
I rolled
13.
a 4.
13.
19.
19.
8.
8. Holy crow. I would say DC 10, so it's hard to fail, but some managed.
Hey.
Waking, that fortress, that looked like the fortresses that dot the landscape of Eucryptidal now. Except you all know very well nobody live in them now, and there are no towns around them. Not built up around them in that way. There are mining operations and mining towns that are nearby. No towns are built right around any of them.
Was it familiar architecture?
What you mean?
Like, I'm assuming that since the what's it organization is kind of spearheading a lot of the stuff here. I don't have it pulled up right in front of me right now.
The consortium.
Right, like you know how like in the American frontier there was like kind of a consistent architectural style. You could see a picture of some buildings and be like, that's a Wild West town. Does this look like what we would?
Absolutely not. This does not look like any of the architecture of the towns that currently exist.
Oh. All right then.
Being completely unaware and oblivious, Belle would have like just sat up like and just immediately started looking for Argus. Argus!
And he's there and bolts up at base as soon as you sit up, aware as ever, very in tune with your concern and feelings and stuff, and is on alert, looking around.
I had such a lovely dream last night.
Oh. That's excellent.
Vault cat.
Clyde seems pretty unfazed.
Cat be catting.
Cat do be catting. It's one of those desert cats.
He's hungry. That's the sound Clyde
Mr.
makes.
King,
when he's
please,
hungry.
we're trying to have a conversation over here.
Stop! You're muted, guys.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, guys would probably be like not visibly disturbed, but more internally oriented than usual, especially seeing as the last couple days he'd been very, very externally oriented.
I mean, Alistair's already like sort of sussed out that this was something external, I think, with that insight check. So I'm just sort of looking around at faces, and I've confirmed with Agatha. Well, everybody, did we all have the same thing?
Can Kelly make a perception check to see, like, everybody's waking up and is
This would be more of an insight check
Okay.
to see if everybody's behaving strangely. And I will, like, for cognizance of what the experience was like, nothing about the destruction you caused would have, like, even in the headspace of the creature, nothing about it was satisfying. It was all in pursuit of where the draw came from when it pulsed. Whatever it was in your chest pulsed, that draw, it was all in pursuit of that, and the rest of it was wanton destruction.
This is a super familiar feeling.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Insight is 13 as I'm sitting on my top of
That
my
is-
horse looking at my companions.
It's up to your companions as to how noticeable, if anything, or if they would like to roll against it.
Well, does Al ask if we all had the same thing?
100%. I'm looking at everybody like Sarah Bell's over here looking like she's, had a best night of her life. Our extrovert friend is introverted this morning. Mr. King is Mr. King. Sarah Bell's like over there with, Miss Bell's over there with Argus, up in a panic. So, and I've already, like I said, sussed out that this was something external. So I just throw my hands up. Well, everybody, was it the same thing?
So, in order, real quick, just for Kylie's sake, that definitely would have gotten it. This is a part of the morning where Geist would usually have woken up, grabbed his weapon, and been on a quick morning perimeter check, and he's not. And then I'll actually let Chris go ahead for his answer first.
Sarabelle looks relaxed, but also does not have the ear-splitting smile that she usually does.
Clyde responds to Al. We all usually have the same thing in the morning.
What do you mean?
Well, I had a particular series of events or memories or dream last night that has seemed to unsettle myself as well as Miss Agatha.
Dreams.
Yes,
What kinds of dream?
not like a dream I've ever had before.
Were you a beast? Or something?
Always am, but yes.
You know what I mean.
There must be one of them new airplanes flying over. Jesus Lord. I don't know what was coming over your mic, Cody. It got real loud.
Oh, is that on mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea. What is going on with that?
Your Skype's
Yeah.
leveling that
Yeah.
wonky.
There's a
Whatever
train
it
driving by.
was.
Everybody hold up.
I don't know.
Oh,
And
Whatever
agree-
it-
oh, good.
Whatever it was something I hope to experience again.
Okay.
Quite satisfying to have a goal set in mind.
Miss Sarabelle, we need to work on your 5-year plan if that's the case.
Would you not do something for your god? If you knew it would satisfy?
Interesting enough, I don't know if this has much to do with your deity, Miss Sarabelle, considering all of us experienced it. Or at
Well, of
least
course
that's the
it
way
did.
seems.
I felt his need. His want. In that dream.
Right. Mr. King, Miss Bell, Professor Dumont, all this, as well as you, Miss Callie?
I frankly don't know what y'all are talking about. I had a very easy last shift. You're telling me that all you had a shared dream?
Thank
And
you,
it was lovely.
It was something.
Does anybody tell me like what what you experienced?
I think that's what me and Professor Dumont was getting at.
Okay. Can I either use my sense or roll a religion check to see if I can get sort of a read on this? Because I'm just freaked out by the fiend stuff still,
Yeah.
and so I'm like,
That's fair.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much like bestial murder are we talking about on here?
It was the difference being there was wanton destruction, but it was damn near in a straight line.
Okay.
Like it was, and I will say, kind of like in the headspace of, like I said, there was that hunger, and it was almost in a like, kill something to make it better, and it didn't. Not really. Like it was a momentary, the slightest flitting distraction from that ever-present, just aching hunger.
Okay. I was
was
gonna,
there? Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I was gonna ask if any of it was targeted.
No.
Like, okay.
The people didn't matter. What the lives snuffed out were completely meaningless. They were not even like on a periphery outside of like the barest maybe noticing, because the one like unifying trait of those of different pulling thoughts and process and everything is ultimately the hunger and satisfying it were at the forefront.
Clyde will describe the dream in short, curt, terse terms, describing the ordeal, a directed rampage, cutting down anything and everything in his path.
right. Yeah. So I would like to use my divine sense, but also roll a religion check, just as a.
Sure.
Okay.
Divine sense, nothing. Not really. Not that you can sense. Not like it was before.
Okay.
Um,
Only a 16.
16. And what are you trying to get out of this religion check? Like, what are you looking for here?
I mean, I get my power from. Who do I get my power from? The Sun Maiden, the Abyss Tyrant, and so I guess sort of just like reaching out to them and trying to think of, is this something that I guess like, because you just sort of gave us the Pentian and didn't give us a whole lot of like what they're sort
Right.
of in control of like, I'm specifically the Abyss Tyrant. This feels very, pokey.
Right. So you're looking for what may have created something like this?
Yeah,
or-
like, is this like, if I'm not feeling any of that fiendish pinging that I've had, like, did like the Abyss Tyrant or the Sun Maiden, the two that I gained my power from, like, yeah, did they make it? Is this anything related, or is this just
Right.
sort of in the breeze?
With a 16, and I guess to give a little clarification on how the Pentium functions, or at least how the belief system of the Pentium functions, is that there are these 5 entities, and they're responsible for creation.
Right.
They made things both physical and the more abstract, like magic and things itself. None of them created anything individually.
Okay.
No single member of the Pentium created anything. The belief is that all of them worked in concert to some extent, in pairs, in smaller groups. There may occasionally all 5 worked on something together. Sometimes it was actually like working together, intentionally creating something. Other times it was happenstance of their interactions that caused it to blip into existence.
Okay.
Things that haunt the night monsters and creatures that are incredibly, predatory and things like that. That is credited with the Abyss Tyrant having a hand in them.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on what it is, exactly, other members are credited as working with him to make them, or at least being involved in their creation.
Okay.
So with a 16, you figure that probably the Piss Tyrant had something to do with this like, if it is a natural born creature, that probably he made it or was part of it.
Okay.
And I heard, Belle, were you asking the question?
Did Belle, were there any children? Did Belle see if there were children?
I mean, it is blurred together. I don't think the creature did not distinguish, like, age or gender or anything of that nature would not have been on its radar. There were just things.
So she wouldn't have known.
I'll say, yeah, because what did you rolled a 7, right?
8, yeah.
An 8,
7
but
plus
below
1.
a 10. With
Mhm.
having had, like, I'd say you're not sure. There were things, they died, it didn't help, basically. Things were alive and then they weren't anymore.
Do we remember anything about ourselves? Like, I was talking about looking down at my hands throughout all this destruction and stuff. Do we
It's like-
remember?
like I said, you remember it vividly.
So, like, well, I mean, were we furry? Were we, like, scaly? Were we...
Skinned. I'd say skinned. Not like peeled, but like humanoid nature. There may have been, I'll say it was dark, and of course, obviously that's not something you were focusing on, that maybe there were parts of you that resembled scales, or there were hard surfaces on you aside from your claws, from what you like it really thinking about it. It wasn't a focus of it, but I'll say because you do remember, like, exactly. But it was whatever you were big, you were strong, and yeah. But it felt like humanoid in shape.
Definitely taller.
Definitely taller.
And
Weird.
Callie laughs. Callie laughs at that and goes, it does sound like something that the Abyss Tyrant might have created. I didn't pick up on anything fiendish around any of y'all, so I hate to push us towards the next stop, but let's all pack up and, maybe have some coffee on the road.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, let's figure
Yeah.
this out on the way, or maybe after the day's done.
Agreed. We should also see, once we get to Bigton, if this is a isolated event to just our group here or more widespread.
We can certainly
We
ask
sure?
those questions, yes.
Are we sure it was just a dream?
I don't think so. Is what Geist will say as he is getting up and walking off to get stuff.
I don't think it was.
And for context, after y'all have been on the road for an hour and he's had a chance to chill the fuck out, he will probably bring up to the group, probably just like out of nowhere, not with any context, the connection between the slashes in the rock and how that seemed very, very similar to the stuff that happened in the dream.
I will say something. There was definitely no guns.
Oh, in the dream we were not fired back at.
You were things resisted. There were no guns.
You said
No
there was no
firearms.
guns, things resisted, and this seems to be at a place to where there are forts that are dappled across the land that no one's inhabited for
Correct.
a long time ago. So it seems like it could have been a flashback from quite a bit ago in the country's history at forts that used to flourish.
because when settlers and things before, when explorers even first came to Eucrypt Shadal, they were already abandoned. There was no like society. There were no peoples. It was inhabited by earth elementals and creatures that preyed on each other.
So when you say forts, you mean like ancient forts, not like forts that they used 80 years ago. Okay,
No,
gotcha.
ancient structures.
Gotcha.
Okay, so
Were
this
they-
wasn't something that like exists now.
The forts are there.
Were they
Okay.
ancient in the dream?
They looked inhabited in the dream.
Right. Seems to me like whatever it was is done and over a long time ago.
No. Maybe that's not what I meant. Like, yes, that was done over a long time ago. But whatever did it, it was only a couple weeks past at the longest, if that's what it was.
What makes you say that? I mean, that could have been the place where it died and left a psychic imprint of its most fun night. I don't know.
That was not that old. You can tell from the depths of the rock its chance at weathering. The blood was dried, but not like a stain.
Oh, you mean
Still
on the
blood.
elemental?
No, the rock that I found. He'll gesture at Alex's character, whose name I'm blanking on super
Al.
fucking hard.
Alex.
Yeah. Who presumably has the damaged gun.
Sure. I did. But
I
I don't know.
thought you said you had it, or were planning on asking for it, or something like that.
The damage.
I was
gun
dealing
that
with my audio settings at that point, so
Oh.
Oh, but I can add it.
if he wanted it, he would have given it to you freely. But that seemed similar. The things we experienced in our dream. It was a likeness that I don't think we should discount. Because if so, whatever that was, it ransacked an entire settlement, however long ago, is presumably possibly still around in this area. And I find it interesting, especially that we experienced that strange communal, temporally dubious dream immediately after we experienced that scene. It would be one thing if I had just dreamed it myself. See a big thing with claws, dream about a big thing with claws. But I think we've clarified that we had a simultaneous and identical experience.
Sure.
You say that, Professor, but do also remember when we saw the claw marks, I did also get an impression of a fiend. I made a general observation and didn't feel anything fiendish after y'all woke up. Not to say that they are connected, but just
It wasn't there though. We went to it in a way. Perhaps that has something to do with it. This is so far out of my realm of experience, I don't even know where to begin.
Who's to say how the gods work?
Gods.
Personally speaking, in the dream, we weren't a dragonborn or a bugbear, so not really much of a matter to me.
You are singularly minded, Mr. Kane.
Motivated.
As we carry along down the road.
He's got a point. We should focus on the task at hand, but I definitely think we should revisit this.
Well, it would make sense too with the rock elementals. I suppose if something bigger and scarier might be driving them all away. I assume we're going down the road at this point. I'm not holding people up like we're riding down the road.
Mhm.
So perhaps that's where they're going. Maybe they're being driven out rather than going to attack anything or with any goal. Maybe something old is back.
Back. I've been only on this continent a very short time, and they're like rumors, a thing that roams out in the desert and eats things, cuts things up.
Is that a history check there?
With
Dean?
claws. Claws causes death. Death claw, maybe.
Boo.
Sounds like as a guy interested in stories.
I'd say you can roll a history check.
Alrighty. History +5 and yeah. 11.
No,
23.
23. Was that a history check?
That was a history check, but specifically for Sylvan stories, because Sarabelle traveled with her parents from forest to forest growing up.
Nothing in that realm, no.
Not that I've came across. I do consider
anything.
myself an avid reader.
Nothing that I've heard of growing up.
Anybody else?
Plenty of things out there make you feel empty like that. Probably something else a lot worse to make you feel that kind of need for something.
I rolled, but Belle doesn't know anything.
No.
Nope, she did
Anybody
not
else?
hear any
I rolled
stories.
a 17 on history.
Negatory.
Okay.
Nothing that fits this description.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Clyde's
This is
not
the last
type-
day we're. Oh, sorry.
Clyde's not the type of guy who's going to be going around listening to the stories about other stuff.
After today, y'all will have one more full day of travel, and then you'll arrive on the next.
Oh,
Or was it?
I thought we had half a day's travel left.
No.
Yeah.
No. After y'all's fourth day of travel, y'all had 2 more full days and then a half day. Y'all traveled your full 5th day. This is your full 6th. Y'all will arrive halfway through the day tomorrow.
Oh,
Gotcha.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Bad dream, we all shared it. Maybe it'll mean something later.
A unique experience at the very least.
I-
Isn't it? Perhaps we're
For
bonding.
clarity, I did not have this dream, so I am still a little perplexed, but that is all right. I feel like I don't particularly want this dream.
If we come across a humanoid folk with nice sharp claws, moves terribly fast, I suggest we all spread out and hope it doesn't come your direction first.
Fair enough.
Sounds like a plan. He says, not sounding certain at all.
Woo.
Thinking about back to how we felt, or how I felt specifically. Maybe we wouldn't need to worry about such a thing.
Yeah,
we
maybe
if
just-
we are the puppet masters.
Just get out the way.
Unless we're the quarry.
Suppose.
I will say y'all don't know what you were pursuing.
Not
Y'all didn't
sensation,
get that
surely.
far.
I mean, could have been righteous. Who knows? Didn't feel righteous, but sometimes people do things and, well,
I just mean the sensation of being temporarily sated by slaughter and then something more wanted afterwards. Like an addiction almost.
Did anyone recognize the thumping? The sounds that was on.
I'll
in the
say that
background?
thumping was not a noise. It was more of like a feeling, like a pulse in your chest. Like it did not feel like a heartbeat, but I don't have a great way to describe it outside of like you felt something leaving. and
did
coming
we
back.
have any sense of temperature?
It gets fairly chilly.
No, I mean during the dream.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like in the dream. I mean, at night here. I mean, I'll say where you were, it was much more desert. There wasn't a ton of, foliage and things. Like it was chilly. I'd say it would have felt cold. I guess I would have registered.
In comparison to our own body, did it seem like we were like a raised construct singly focused on going to a certain place with an artificial heart in our body?
No, you felt alive.
Okay.
He said we had skin.
Yeah, you had skin and
zombies have skin.
Yeah. No, you felt alive.
Okay.
John has skin.
John does have skin.
John has
Indeed.
skin.
John has more skin than he should, probably. But,
More skin than anybody in this party.
He does.
That's fine.
Maybe not as much as all of you combined, but pretty close.
We need to keep going to this campaign until we can convert John into a boat.
God.
I find that idea concerning.
Use paddles the whole way.
He's just gonna be a transformer by the end of this.
You say paddle, so no sail?
It's paddles.
He just holds up a little white flag.
Just
I
cups
think you
his
should have
hand.
both. Like there's the sail in the middle, and then
What's the sail made
a
of?
couple of little doggy
Skin.
paddles going on. I mean, yeah,
Skin
yeah.
sail. Yeah. That's gross.
Tattoos here and there.
Sounds-
Okay.
Okay.
Get him some legs and he can kick. That'll be his propeller.
Anyway, serious. Y'all just had a horrifying vision of destruction and chaos. Anyway,
I mean, it's pretty horrifying, also.
yeah, but we were laughing about it, so. y'all try-
Horrifying
Trauma
for
response.
some. Thank you.
Y'all travel.
Travel.
Anything you guys want to do throughout the day?
Same basic stuff.
I think at this point we're all just trying to get to Picton.
Yep. I want to ask. I want to make sure I ask before we continue. Don't want to rob anybody.
Yeah,
Same.
Clyde engages no one in conversation except for Turnip, which does not respond in kind. Probably is the reason why he talks to Turnip the most.
He'll probably just try to like chat folks up, see if anybody wants to play 20 questions or any kind of like travel games, anything like that.
You play I Spy.
Yeah, anybody would play
Oh,
I Spy
really?
with Malloy.
Really, I spy.
Wow.
With your one little eye.
insensitive.
You spit eye.
Sensitive.
Spy.
Second verse, same as the first from yesterday, but also with an especial eye keeping out behind them. Because we can't have anyone get into Picton before us.
Someone,
ain't seeing shit.
Someone amongst you roll percentiles for
I
me.
just rolled 57 for percentile, actually.
Was that for something else?
Yes, it was to see how likely Clyde was to participate in I Spy.
You keep your 57 for I Spy, and somebody roll me a different
I want to roll my
percentile.
D100. I want to
Go
roll my
for it,
D100.
go for
Roll
it,
your golf
man.
ball.
Or you, yeah, your numbered golf ball.
It is 89.
89? Okay. Roll again.
Okay.
He said that's not the number I want.
6.
No, these are separate. I believe both Cody and Kent are familiar with the method. All right. Thank you. You guys travel.
So you said 89 and 6 as in
And
0,
6.
6? Perfect.
So 2 extremes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Mhm.
Anyway. You guys travel.
Mm.
The day passes. Eerily lifeless, yet again. Still seeing evidence of earth elemental activity as you go.
And this all seems like recent Earth elemental activity that's above the normal amount of activity in the area.
I would say so, because I
So
mean,
it
like I
seems
said,
like-
the little furrows, they tend to get patted down, or if it's not recent, it's stuck around maybe because there hasn't been stuff moving around near it. Because I mean, these are earth elementals; they don't burrow,
Yeah.
they earth glide.
Right.
So it's not like they're leaving tunnels. So usually
yeah.
the signs they're passing dissipate relatively quickly.
Right. So, has this been increasing in severity, or just kind of along the way it's been wild?
It's just seemed consistent.
Okay.
Consistent, like in this area, like at least within days of travel of Picton, like earth elemental activity has been high.
Yeah. All
Big
right.
travel. You guys stopped for the night. You know that you are a half day from Picton at most. Do you guys go to bed?
Yeah, I take the first and last watch.
First and 4? Okay.
I'll
Who's
take
taking
number 3.
watch on number 3? 2?
I've always had 3.
3, 2,
Two.
2.
Oh,
We-
sorry.
We not doing the same cycles we had before?
Tell me I'm not keeping track of your watch cycles.
To be honest, I don't remember. So Belle will go whenever.
I think
I
I had
think-
2 before.
Yeah, guys have
Alistair,
been
oh,
doing
that's
first.
what it was, because Alistair didn't take watch. I was trying to remember why we had somebody alone. That would be why. Because Alistair's
Guys have been taking first watch with Callie because he can't see in the fucking dark.
Correct.
Okay. So is Clyde by himself on 3? That's what it sounds like. Okay.
I thought
Where's
Bell
John,
was.
I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
I'm asking
Oh,
among
yeah.
players.
Belle.
John is ever present.
I thought Bell was with me on third watch.
Is Bellator? Okay, I'm sorry. I
Thanks, I
thought
couldn't
she had said
remember.
2 as well. Okay.
I couldn't remember. So, but yeah, that's right.
Cool.
Is it?
Cool. Yeah. Just give me collective
like
wisdom saving throws, please.
Hell yeah, that's what's up.
I'm
Oh.
changing dice.
That's very, very good.
I have to use a big dice because I can't see these fucking numbers with my right eye.
Just
That's fine.
close your right eye and look with your left eye.
It's every. Well, okay. 22.
9.
22. Nice. 9. Nice.
14.
14. Nice.
19.
19. Nice.
14.
20 plus 2.
For 22. Nice. And what was Sarah Bell? I'm sorry.
14.
14. So we had double 14s. All right. Anybody below 15? Don't remember yourself.
Oh shit.
Even
Natural
with my
20
whip
for-
of warning?
Huh?
It doesn't help me. My whip of
No.
warning doesn't help me in any way.
Not at all.
Dang it.
You're sleeping. This is not a physical threat. So my 19.
Yes.
You don't sleep
I don't.
exactly. You meditate. So this is a little different for you. When I was making this, I did not account for the fact that you're an elf who doesn't sleep. So we're gonna wing it a little bit with how this works for you.
Okay.
For you, this is a waking nightmare.
Hey,
Oh my god.
perfect.
That's so much worse.
You're just in this nice.
Yeah. And this is
Wake
And-
up. So there.
and instead of manifesting as a continual vision, it manifests in flashes.
Strobe terror. Let's go.
Basically. Strobe terror in that, like, when it's flashing, you're there. Like, you are experiencing this, and then it's gone, and you're not where you were standing before. You are up and moving and acting during this
Acting of it?
nightmare.
Oh, that's horrifying.
And
So-
and our people who were on watch were Bell and what was your total, Bud?
22.
22?
19 plus 3.
Okay. And you know what? I want to. I'm actually going to stick with this. Bell passes out. Just
Like with the
collapses.
dirt. Great.
Clyde, I'm going to say you experience this the same way that Callie does, since you
What?
rolled so high. Yeah, I like
Okay.
that. That's an
Punished for
edit.
doing well.
That's an edit to how I was gonna have this work, but I like it.
John would probably.
John does not dream.
Well, no. Would see Belle collapse, and John would probably, like, walk over her and stand immediately over her.
What about Gus? Because he's almost always like right at my heels. Does Gus dream? Does he?
No.
No,
Do
don't
good
make
boys
him.
dream?
Don't do that. Don't do it to Gus. Don't you
Gus
dare.
is not
Don't
a
you
normal
dare.
creature. Gus is also not a person.
Okay. Very
So-
good. We were gonna have to have words later.
Gus is not a humanoid.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay.
But
would he respond when? I'm
Oh,
assuming
absolutely.
he would respond when I like pass
you would
out.
assume he was,
at
but
his feet.
you're not
Yeah.
conscious to observe it. So
He and John are like,
So clarification.
what?
I'm am I stuck in a meditative state of like flashes of this, or am I actually like,
no, you are up and moving.
oh my god?
So is Clyde. In between the so this is setting the stage. So I had my two 14s. I had anybody who had a 15 or between a 15 and a 20 were my 19, and your natural 20. And reminder of Alistair's roll.
9.
9. Okay. So with those three of you, no clue who you are. My 19, same as before. You have this slight sense of self, of who you were previously, to give context to the vision. Callie, also, were you a 20 or above?
No, I got a 19 on the dot.
You got a 19. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then my natural 20, you know exactly who you are. You remember everything about Geist. You have your full life for context of the dream.
But we
So-
have no control.
I have
But you
no
have no
idea
control.
what's worse of all these, honestly.
I
It
hate
is
so much.
passenger style dream.
It's the same as before. You feel like you were acting it out.
But Geist being aware of what's going on, he can't alter the course of what's going on. He
Not
is
really,
along for the ride.
basically.
That being the case, oh wait, actually, he's aware of Geist. Does he have like memory of this recurring dream? Is he like, oh god, I'm here again?
I'd say yeah.
He will
Panic.
probably at first, yeah. At first, he's like, oh fuck, oh god, oh fuck. But after like a minute, he will, and he's gonna try and remember details. Any words the people that are being slaughtered are speaking, details about their clothing or weapons. He's trying to identify the situation. That is
Sure.
what he will be doing for the duration.
You said that I can vaguely know who
You know of Callie. Like you had that. Like it's almost like a fading memory.
Okay.
Is
Am
Clyde
I-
aware? Oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna ask, like, am I cognizant enough, sort of in this waking nightmare to use my divine sense, like hold
No,
my?
not at all.
Okay. Damn it. Okay. Well, just having a waking nightmare then. Great.
To the murder club.
This is great. And I'm sorry. What was your question, Claude?
Is Clyde aware? He also had a 22. just
Also
not
a
natural
22?
20.
He had a natural 20, so not to the
Right.
same extent. You are
Right.
more aware than you were before.
Okay.
And I'll say you have more of your entire life as context.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
So, I was gonna be very upfront with all of you. I want you to think about what you would be trying to do in this situation. I'm not going to go down the list and ask you, but I want like what you know of what context you have, what you would be trying to do. And I just want you to keep in mind that every time you're trying to make a decision, you feel that pull of voices everywhere, like all these different inputs, all these different instincts, all kind of congealing together and then proceeding along the path that I'm going to describe to you ultimately. Yes.
I think based off of what you said, pretty much all Cerebell would hear is just feed, kill, seek.
You hear it all. There's always this constant cacophony that raises and lowers at random. Like basically anytime there seems to be, you reach like a decision point, cacophony, it settles, or at least your perception of it settles. But y'all are back in the town. Much farther along than you were before. You are now in the fortress, or climbing the walls of the fortress up over that pulse stronger towards the center. The directions become more concrete. It's in, it's down, in the middle. You kill. You pursue. It flashes. You're farther along. The pulsing is moving. It flashes. Flash back in. Ripping through a door. Implements of like scents that bombard you, of incense, and when I say incense, I mean incense, like myrrh and things, are strong smells and bright lights and crystals, magical implements, circles drawn, runes, and a figure cowering slightly more on the opposite side of the wall from you. And you all wake up again. The two of you that were not asleep. It fades. You're not 100% sure how long this went on for. I'll say for the two of you, it settled down after, conscious of like between the flashes of this kind of waking nightmare, were like minutes.
How far outside of camp are we?
Good question.
10 miles.
About 110 feet away from camp. Y'all have wandered. I will say, like, both of you are kind of scraped and scuffed up. There's dirt and things like that are up under your fingernails, like where you can feel like you clawed phantomly.
Am I like
things.
55 feet away from camp?
Why would you only be 55 feet from camp?
Because I'm mimicking a much larger creature, so my gait's not quite as long.
Sure. Sure, why not? Maybe not 55 feet, but yeah, something. You're a little closer than Callie, but when you come to yourselves,
yeah, I'm probably. Yeah, I imagine Clyde would come to, Turnip would be there, and there'd probably be lots of slobber over his face where Turnip's like, "What the fuck are you doing, man? What is going on right now?"
Oh, absolutely, like whining and like confused and kind of frightened by you behaving oddly. Same goes for Argus, like, but much more like concerned and whining, but like on alert because he's a guard dog, like he's by trade.
Clyde will take a quick jog back into camp and just fire off around. Yeah.
I mean, you all of you woke from this dream.
Everyone woke up from the dream simultaneously.
Yes.
Okay. I thought you were meaning that the people who are awake are like, oh, they just snap out of it. Okay, but if everyone's woken up, then obviously I won't just like, hey, what's up, everybody?
You missed.
How are you? Have a gunshot.
I'm 110 feet away.
What did you say John is over me? Like kind of like almost like a tent.
He
So
will also not be able to tell when you come to, so he will just remain until you climb out underneath and he sees you.
Slapping her.
so yeah, when
Wake
she opens her eyes and like gets her bearings, she would kind of like reach out and tap the closest arm or the closest forearm or wrist and be like, John, darling, thank you, sweetheart. I am awake now. If you don't mind scooching a little so I can get up in a little bit more dignified manner. Thank you,
Scuttle,
darling.
scuttle, scuttle.
Thank you, John. And she's going to turn around and be like, what the hell? Try to see where everybody else.
I'm walking real slow back. I think having a moment.
Yep. Sarabelle is also having a moment. She is despondent.
We remember this as vividly as the other.
As vividly as before.
I have a question. When you said the cacophony of voices, did it feel like just our group here or more?
Way more.
Way more.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Can I make another religion check now that I have like experienced this as I'm meandering back?
Sure. You could certainly try.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. This matches no description of fiend or beast created by the Abyss Tyrant that you have ever heard of.
Oof. Can I make 2 checks? A perception check to see if I can obviously see if there's any relatable things around me, or hey, that's a big fucking landmark that's probably been there for 1,000+ years aside from the fort itself, or if there's any type of like Fort 86 just painted on the side of a building or something like that.
They just labeled them nice and easy,
Yeah. You never know. Crazier things can happen. And an insight check on, in this particular situation, myself, as to maybe have any inkling on what this massive motivator would be.
Roll them.
All right. They're both the same. So the first one is a 16 on the perception check. So it's 21 total. And the other one is a sense motive. I don't think I have anything for it, just straight. Okay, so that is it's a 12 total for the sense motive.
12?
Yeah.
For your perception check for the 21, nothing that you can identify.
Okay.
I would say, because, you've seen the fort that's near Crystal Grit.
Insight,
This does not
excuse
look
me.
like that one. Do I?
Sorry, I said sense motive. I meant insight.
I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. But nothing identifiable that you know of. Like,
Okay.
I will say, because you didn't wander too terribly much. Y'all basically found somewhere and settled down. And this is definitely, you can 100% not the fort near Crystal Grit.
Yeah.
I'll say even with the 21, you're a pretty smart guy. That this seems like it came from like wherever this was more northerly and west.
Right.
That's
like
where things
maybe-
start to get more desert. Is
Okay.
closer to the edge of settled land.
So I might have seen like more like snow area, or like maybe some mountains that had snow on them that's not in this area or something like that.
Maybe like far in the distance, perhaps.
Right,
But
okay.
it looked like this maybe was farther. This fort was one of the ones farther to the northwest, maybe far closer to the edge of the frontier.
Okay.
But and with the 12, you have no clue what the motivator was. You just knew it was easing that ever present sense of hunger, or that it like that pulsing did, like there was the promise of satiation.
Got you. All right.
And then I believe, guys, you were with your natural 20, you were just trying to mark down some details for you to remember, right?
And then as soon as he woke up, probably orient himself for a second, and he would have been trying to record everything he could remember.
Okay. A reminder of what details you were trying to mark down.
Specifically, he was trying to get like any clothing or weapons, like visually identifiable cultural details. Because I think in the conversation we figured out this was like either an alternate or past reality. And so he's trying to orient the time and location of what was happening as best he could. He's an analytical person with an intelligence of 16, so he's trying to...
You sure as fuck know, not in your lifetime.
Oh yeah, I think that was figured by the fact that the forts
like I
were
said,
fully
no
inhabited.
firearms. There are swords. There were swords, spears, bows, medieval weaponry in place here. Not in a style that you recognize.
Right, and he would be like recording all the details. They were using some
recording,
blue or
I'm not going to go into the exact details of like what the shapes of armors and weapons were.
Yep.
It is none that you recognize, and like the more you look at it, the more you're like, yeah, this was a long ass time ago, because there's not even like muskets, like not even early gunpowder, like none whatsoever in evidence.
Right. He wasn't writing it down necessarily because he thought he would be able to identify any of it, but this is for future reference because he wants to try and be able to reference it in detail later. And this character does not have eidetic memory, so he has to do this kind of thing.
Surely. While y'all ponder, that's where we're going to go ahead and take our break, because I just looked down as 9/11. So we are going to take a quick bio, and we'll be right back and refresh drinks, use the restroom. Encourage you all to do the same, but to leave your computer where it is.
Don't
leave
take
it on
your
this
computer
page.
to you to the restroom, please.
Don't.
Or do. Who are we to judge?
I mean, leave.
I'm
Like,
joking.
don't mess with your mouse. Don't change the channel. Leave it here, because we're gonna come right back.
Take us to the bathroom with you.
Yeah.
That's weird. Don't do that.
And we'll definitely judge
I
you.
request for
So
myself.
weird quick.
But yeah, we'll be back here shortly. Kinda bye. And hello, welcome back, everybody. Hello, howdy, y'all. Howdy. We're returning to. I was about to say the rootin', tootin', pointin', shooting. There hasn't been much rootin' nor tootin'. Maybe some tootin', but no pointing or shooting.
When we get to the next town, we'll get some beans.
Beans. Beans. Like some. Hell yeah. But do you like beans on toast? I hope not. Anyway, we return for second half of this year Whispers in the Dust session. Quick recap. What's up? Our party have been having rough nights for the past couple nights. They've been having nightmares, dreams. I guess some people don't consider them nightmares, so I will say they're dreams. Inhabiting simultaneously, all of them, the form of some beast, some creature going on a rampage in pursuit of something that will satiate its ever-present, excruciating hunger. Aches in every part of its body. Seemingly pursuing whatever will satisfy through a town. Old from long ago, surrounding the forts that dot the landscape of Eucryptidal, that in known history or currently are uninhabited and have been for hundreds of years. But dream, memory, they're not quite sure at this time. Well, they've seen it in maybe not its glory days, but when there were people in it. No gunpowder, no black powder, no guns, swords and force of arms all that stood between them and this beast, and it did them no good. And they wake on their last day of travel, not even a full day, only a half day to get to Picton. They pursue their quarry of various kinds, because not everybody's goals are necessarily the same. So, my vagabonds, my gunslingers, what y'all doing this morning?
Cerebel's just continued to be despondent after waking up.
Despondent Cerebel. All right.
Even after turnip kisses?
There might be a all right.
Callie walks fairly slowly back to camp. Kind of not despondent, but kind of bedraggled, I think. I think that freaks her out a little bit, because elves don't usually go through this kind of stuff. We're usually immune.
Yeah. I mean, you were conscious the whole time.
Yeah, which is even worse.
Belle's gotten
It's
up and made
definitely
a.
an anomaly.
Oh, sorry. I
Go
apologize.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Belle's gotten up and made a big pot of very strong coffee and has dumped the better part of a flask in it and is just pouring cups for everybody and handing out some like hardtack type of stuff that Pox made.
Thank you, Miss Bell. I do appreciate this.
I think we might all want to sit around and take just a moment. I know today's the day for arrival, but we may want to take a moment and just kind of check in. It seems our experience has progressed.
Yeah, that was something different for sure. Seems like wherever it was taking place at, it's up in the northwest somewhere, maybe far from here, but not anywhere local. Not anywhere we're going to be ranging anytime soon.
That sorry.
What was that, Cerebel?
That was not the same as last night.
What was different about it? I mean, same situation. I assume y'all all had a dream, kind of in flashes.
There was no joy in it. No goal. No. No other. I was wrong. This wasn't his doing.
It's okay, Miss Cerebel. I don't think anyone's gonna fault you for looking for a silver lining. But indeed, there was some sort of gold, though. I have to disagree on that point. Something deep and unseen. Something I couldn't quite get my hands on, but wanted to. Real bad. Everybody else feel that same way?
Yes, I do feel like there was a singular goal, whatever that was, but I think differently than what y'all experienced in a dream. I was partially awake, and I did not like the feeling of being completely out of control. Did not have my mind all the way. I knew who I was, but not enough, I guess.
Interesting.
It was like
Callie, my dear,
fiction.
Oh, yes, it was. And I lost myself entirely. I had no recollection of who I was while I was in the dream this time. And Callie, did you and Mr. King continue to walk? Neither of you seem to be in the same place where you started. You were
Yep.
far from our camp.
Yes, ma'am. I like I said, it was a waking nightmare every shoot, I don't know. It felt like I'd have the experience and then I'd wake up and be further away from the camp, but could not keep myself at the camp no matter what I did.
Yeah, it set me on a prowl.
Those of you that were awake and then not, do you remember about what time this happened?
I was on watch with Mr. King, and I fell to the ground, apparently. We were speaking, and then the next thing I know, I was in the dream. Mr. King, did you notice the time?
I mean, past midnight, 4 pre-dawn.
Does this line up with the same time that it happened the night before?
No, this was earlier.
Interesting.
We're all here talking. Unlike the previous night, I was fully cognizant the whole time. Probably looks a little disturbed about that fact.
It was different for me tonight. I did not have any recollection.
It also seems that my puppet master theory may be incorrect as well, as I don't think it was just us struggling about in this creature's inner thoughts or desires.
Oh.
There was a chorus of voices.
And frankly, it's not anything that I have come into contact with in terms of the beasts and critters. It's not fiendish. And I don't think it was anything made by the Abyss Tyrant either. Which frightens me.
Sorry.
No, I was like, which frightens me. I do not know what this is.
I agree, Callie, darling. It does frighten me as well. And she'll put her hand kind of on Sarah Bell's shoulder while she kind of tries to give her another piece of the kind of cornbread stuff. Professor, you said that you were cognizant the entire time, that you were able to notice everything. Did you notice anything that could give us any information, or?
He'll kind of like gesture, holding up the handful of pages where he'd hastily jotted the notes, probably pretty sloppily, as it was a feverish kind of trying to get it written out before any slipping away of the memories of the dream.
It does not fade.
He didn't know that it wouldn't, though, so
Right.
so he was trying to like jot it all out, and I was trying to figure out when and where and how, and I don't know about this chorus of voices, but he'll show them the papers. Whatever details he was able to get about like the being itself, obviously he couldn't like be like, hey dude, can you go look in a mirror, but what he could derive from the memory.
Okay. I'll say, I mean, because the thing is, like you said, you couldn't direct it to look at anything, so it'd be difficult to get detail on it. Like I said, it's humanoid, big, seemingly made of, flesh and the like. I will say that, I'll say with a little bit of greater cognizance, the claws are not like claws. Like they're not made of like chitinous material. They seemed almost stony. Like like in the light of the walls that you were able to observe, like it almost seemed like stone was grafted to the ends of those long fingers and these long like claws.
Is there any, that's horrifying in its own right, but was there any, like, for those of us who completely got lost into this creature, is there any sort of mindset or like mantra? Like, I know we have this thing of like this pulse within us of get the thing, but is there any active thought, or is this very like bestial.
It is very like a primal like need.
Okay.
Like you need like I think somebody earlier said something about it like it seemed like an addiction almost.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
Okay.
Like this is that like there is not a conscious like thought process. It is get it.
Okay.
Get it.
Okay. So it does feel like addiction versus like survival.
I'd say almost
guess-
like I'd say those two feelings are almost inseparable.
Yeah. That's fair. Interesting.
All right, my dear friends, let's get ourselves packed up. We are only about a half day's ride, and I know that Mr. King would appreciate if we got there sooner rather than later. We can discuss further on the road if we need to belabor the horrifying nature of this situation. But I would prefer if we just keep going.
I mean, we also need to entertain the fact this happened 2 nights in a row now. All the elementals in the area have been rustled up and moving all over the place. What if we get to Pinkton and everyone else is having these dreams? Everyone's there baggy-eyed and coffee-drenched.
Well, then we will deal with that when we get there, Mr. King, but we gotta get there to find that out.
I'm
Perhaps
just
they'll make
posing the possibility to the party.
Perhaps it'll make it easier to bag on that.
I work better at night. I can't do that if I'm miming about in the woods.
This is true. If we plan on doing any sort of nocturnal activities, we can't have any of us going around and clawing at the dirt and walls and whatever else. This is a bit of a problem.
And if Mr. King's conjecture is accurate, if it's true, the people in the town might be doing the same. All the folks who are awake during the nighttime, maybe not all of them fall to the ground like I did. Maybe some of them will stay awake, and they might be acting out those dreams as well.
Is there any abilities that someone has to maybe block out something like this?
The best.
Clyde just wiggles the coffee cup.
I thought you were shaking your gun at me. It was like, holy shit.
Permanently.
Best I can do is if we have 10 minutes, I can check for any magical residue.
I think perhaps another course of thought is that a man who is sleepwalking is easier to abduct, and gods that have been having restless nights are easier to slip past.
Well, Professor Dumont, please do remember that our allies here were on watch when they fell down and started clawing at the ground. So if we're out doing our thing and all of a sudden we are struck by the same, it's not very fortuitous for our goal.
Yeah, Turnip was with me, licking my face and such, so I don't imagine there'd been much that would have woke me up in a state like that.
Just so you know, Cerebell is ritually casting Detect Magic.
Sure.
I assume we're going down the road while we're doing this.
All right. Finish casting Detect Magic. Nothing beyond what anybody cares to name on their person does magically. I mean, I believe you should sense at least a magic item on everyone to some extent, plus, the stones you guys purchased. So there's some flickerings of magic, but
Turnip has a necromantic aura.
creepy. But nothing that you would think of, because I mean, you have some knowledge of magical things, right? Clearly, to be able to interpret how to detect magic kind of pings things. And you would expect, like, from something like this, if it was being actively cast on you, like heavy amounts of illusion or enchantment, or a mixture of both. And you're not getting that.
That is interesting. There's no traces of anything.
All right.
So unless somebody is doing a little bit of trickery with our water, like you did with the well, Mr.
Alistair
Alistair,
holding both of his hands up.
What's that?
I'm not quite sure how they could be doing this to us. I'm checking if I have.
I have something that could ward someone, but it would take up some of my energy, and I don't know if we get into a tussle, what would be better, me not getting overtaken by these waking nightmares or killing something faster. So
I'm trying to read with this eye, and it's not going well.
Let me hold on. Let me get my good eye.
Just a little bit of OOC stuff. What are you talking about, Kylie?
I have protection from good and evil.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which, how long does that last?
10 minutes.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
I was thinking like
The big thing is, it's like it can't be charmed, frightened, possessed, or the target can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed.
yeah, you know, but being proactive with it's practically impossible, especially if it's not at a set time every night.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is it's like I have a thing, but it's not. I don't know how useful it is
Right.
unless I fully save, like I did the first night, if that's possible, and then I could cast it on someone else, because then it snaps the whoever out of the thing. So at least that's the language it says on there. Double check that language. Come on, thing, I believe in you.
The first night that it happened, who was on guard?
I was, and I did. I got a nat 20,
And was
and I also,
unaffected.
yeah.
You
But
by
the other
yourself.
thing too is, but yeah, the other thing too is though, I can't be charmed. And yeah.
I'll
So
be
it's-
very, very blatant. This is not a charm effect.
Right. No, but I'm just saying it's like says target can't be charmed, frightened, possessed, and if they're already charmed, frightened, or possessed by such a creature, the target has advantage on any new saving throws. That's language for protection of evil, from evil and good.
The second night, it was Belle and. Okay.
Mr.
God
King.
damn it. I keep missing with these theories today. No rock babies.
No.
Well, we'll see if it happens again tonight, or if we get to town and people are also talking about these dreams. If people are talking about the dreams, then we'll probably need to get somewhere we can all be safe for the night, and then take care of our business during waking hours.
Right. I imagine we're all saying this on the road, right? We're
Yeah.
I believe
Okay.
yeah, that's been established. Y'all are
Okay.
yeah, y'all are moving.
Yeah.
So, I look at it, as I'm writing, I go, all right, let's figure out, are we all going to come into town, or are we going to do a scouting party first, and then report back what's going on?
I believe it was previously discussed that myself and Al here would go in because we'd be fresh faces and have a way with words.
Right. Just make it clear.
Mr. King, if you can hold off for that amount of time, now you have my word that I'll do my damnedest to find these men for you.
Sure.
Very well. Quick question, DM. I don't know if you'll allow this or not. Would you allow me like an Arcana roll or something to know about the Hollow spell?
What level is that spell?
5th. I don't know how magical your universe is.
Magical enough that if you roll high enough, you could know about a 5th level spell.
Yeah, is that an Arcana check?
Be Arcana.
Natural 19 for a 24.
I would say
Nice.
that you know of the hollow spell.
Yeah, yeah.
Hollow, whatever.
Oh fuck! Now I
You are not current. Obviously you are aware that you are not capable of casting it at this time, but you know of it. And you know of its effects.
yeah.
It's a really great like narrative device. You find it's a good. You can get some use out of it.
I think I probably know about it because of my father.
Also very possible. Yeah.
If there's somewhere that we can find in here, something I'll also be snooping around to look for is holy ground of some sort, hallowed ground, if you will. From what I know of the matter, it can potentially help us with things like this, and maybe we won't go acting out in our sleep.
Sure.
Well, Mr. Dotry, I do actually can sense that kind of thing. That's one of the reasons why I take a walkabout before we settle down for the night. So maybe you and I can team up to figure something out.
Ever so useful, Miss Kelly. And with your new disguise, I can barely recognize you, so I see no need on why you shouldn't be going into Picton with us.
Wonderful. Well, you have your lovely Agatha, and I guess the professor could escort me in as well, and we can figure things out.
Sounds like a plan to me.
As for Miss Sarah Bell, Miss Bell, and Mr. King, we could be searching on the outskirts for other matters.
Indeed.
Learn.
Sure.
And suddenly I'm British.
They're very close.
It's Tuesday, isn't it?
It's Tuesday, isn't it?
It's Wednesday. We are not making fun of British people. We would never.
We're not.
No,
Making
no.
fun of the way they sound.
I am scoreboard, baby. 2-0. Let's go.
Woo!
They've taken enough from other people. It's okay. We can punch up.
We're not trying to alienate any audiences.
All right.
So, there we go. We have our teams, and
Yeah. So to clarify, we have the professor, Mr. Dotry, Callie, as our player characters entering the town. Correct.
Correct.
Boom.
Indeed.
Which leaves Miss Bell, Sarah Bell, and Mr. King.
Before we decide on this plan 100%,
Yes.
I would be remiss if I didn't express the various dangers involved with doing a thing known as splitting the party.
Nothing bad has ever happened because of that.
Just throwing that out there. Just so we all know. Okay, cool.
This only,
It's literally the
Mr.
fifth
King,
session.
this only a thing in books and such. I use that trope all the time. It never goes that way in real life.
Mr. King, we are also all very capable, as we discussed on one of our very first evenings together, that we are all very capable of taking care of ourselves, and if we are with other folks, it will be just fine.
I do have some questions regarding methodology as we go in. I believe it was discussed before, but refresh me, what vehicle are we taking? Gesturing at the array. I think we have creepy
Yeah,
cart,
of course.
regular cart, and what else? Was that it? Everyone else was just horses, or did we have another cart?
You
I
had
have
the
a cart.
donkey.
You have a cart.
I have a cart and horse. Yeah.
I've perhaps a less conspicuous cart to start.
Well, I don't think that's going to be a problem as Miss Sarabelle is going to be on the outskirts of town.
It's not. He like side glances at John, just making sure, you know. Just in case, you know, I don't know what it can do. Independently.
Professor, I think is gonna happen is that Mr. Dotry and lovely Agatha are gonna roll up in their cart. I can join you in your cart and have my horse tied to the back, and we can settle in for a moment, do our reconnaissance and the like.
Separate arrivals, not a dual party thing.
I'm going to be very honest with the both of you. With as little traffic as we've seen on this road, I doubt they're not going to know that we travel together in some capacity. We can say
I
that
just
we,
need to know. Go ahead.
we can say that we met on the road if that's what you desire, but these folks are going to know if we roll up within half a day of each other, they're going to know we traveled together.
I'm going to be quite honest. I just wanted to make sure I knew which cart to stow my weapon under. He kind of gestures at his long rifle.
Your own.
Very well. And at some juncture, probably before the town becomes visible, he would be mounting it under his own cart.
Alistair will also tuck his palm pistol into his long sleeve.
Y'all are hiding some weapons.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I have my boot daggers, and I have a revolver. I don't know if I can justify wearing this dress, my hunting rifle, because I can hide a revolver. I don't know if I can hide a hunting rifle
It does
in this dress.
bring up a good point. Do we know anything about local laws? Like, are we allowed to just carry open carry?
This is the frontier, man.
Okay.
Open carry is common
Hey,
practice.
Wow, Wes.
we remember
it's-
Tombstone.
It's
No, I
not so
don't-
much for me. It's not so much the like, are we allowed to? It's I'm trying to put on a very specific visage, and this is. I don't think this one would be wearing or be hauling around a hunting rifle.
I am 100% with you. I just wanted to make sure.
Could be under the seat. Could be under the.
I
Grab the front
I
seat.
could put it in the thing, but I'm not carrying it. I can hide a revolver. I cannot hide a hunting rifle.
Yeah. Guys
Dress
will
doesn't
be
allow for that.
openly wearing his 2 revolvers.
Could ride shotgun with a rifle. There you go.
First gun, long gun will be concealed.
John's going back to wheels.
Yard.
Ugh. I mean, that's better, but also the process of getting there. Ugh.
If everybody could for me just real quick, if you're hiding a gun on your person, just roll a stealth check and write it down just somewhere on your sheet. I was gonna say purse gun gets a +5 to this roll for being very purposely for hiding.
Stealth or sleight of hand, just to make sure.
I always think of sleight of hand as being a more active thing, so I think we'll stick with stealth.
Okay. So I have a +2 to stealth, and you said +5 for the weapon.
Yeah,
so +7 in
for
total.
the Derringer it gets a +5, just flat for being a little dinky little thing.
Okay.
I think in previous iterations, sleight of hand was more for retrieving said hidden item without someone noticing.
Right. So if you went to draw it, that's the same. Like it's an active attempt to deceive or go unnoticed.
Do I also need to roll for my daggers or just my revolver?
I would say just give one roll for everything that you're trying to hide, unless
Beautiful.
you're trying to also hide a Derringer, and then I'd
No.
say just keep the same roll and just mark it down as this is the Derringer's roll with the +5, and then these are the other weapons.
So we didn't have to roll separately for the dairy.
No, I just say just roll once, add a +5 for the dairy, and kind of keep those numbers side by side, just for ease of tracking.
Beautiful.
Alright, cool.
And I'll at some point I'm just gonna say, does this spot your weapons, and then you guys can sound off. All right.
Raj.
Got it.
Wonderful. So is anybody open carrying anything, or all of you concealing all of your weapons?
Shotgun.
No, his revolvers are open.
Revolvers open. Okay. Wunderbar. So you all approach Picton. Grim atmosphere. And if I could actually get some perception checks, as you guys are going to be coming up on Picton in the next few hours.
We're hours outside of town, and they're leading ahead.
I mean, y'all everywhere is hours away from somewhere.
17.
17,
19.
19,
5.
30-20, finally.
5. What was that for Belle?
30-20, finally.
Dirty
Something
20. Very
decent.
nice.
16.
16. Okay. So I had 17, 19, dirty 25, and 16, right? Fantastic. That does bring the question, how far out is the out squad staying from town?
Not multiple hours away.
Right.
Probably a couple
Is there any
miles or so.
any natural cover? Is it like in a hilly area? Is it just all flat land?
High level. These are things that I need to
always
get better about
high.
thinking about ahead of time.
Hey,
Is it always high?
always high.
Always high. How dare you even?
Um,
The flattest of
I rolled a
flat land.
2.
It's the
Okay.
flattest of flat land.
It is very flat.
All right.
As a matter of fact, Earth is flat.
The Earth is, y'all are reasonably certain while traversing this section of the continent. Pretty sure this planet is flat. Not a globe, as you have been told.
Have y'all heard about that ice wall?
Goodness
In
gracious.
Game of Thrones.
Romulus.
Very famous ye old. It's supposed to be like an old accounting of the past, but it's so just so out there. Anyway. So y'all are staying, so with that information, how far away is the out team staying from town?
I would say probably within a mile and a half, 2 at most.
Right. So far enough away that even if somebody could spot you, it'd be pretty vague with
Yeah.
eyeball.
Because
All right.
there's John's the only vehicle. Everybody else is horses and dogs, so
Right.
be kind of nimble.
Wonderful. I'm gonna say, since y'all are just kind of riding into town, yeah, why not? Our dirty 20, Miss Bell, riding into town, and this will be, I'll say, within that mile where you guys kind of start to split off, and that's why y'all also get to roll for this. But kind of coming in, Miss Bell, you will notice in several places, kind of around, there are signs of conflict on the outskirts, like a little ways from the town itself.
People conflict or elemental conflict?
I don't know if you could confirm. You would suspect elemental conflict, probably, because there are places of like churned earth, broken stones, like stones that look like they've been shattered, things of that nature, as you approach.
So we see this before the party splits up?
Yeah, kind of around the time the party is splitting up. And like I said, I'm not gonna say like there's not like there was a massive battle, but you see signs of conflict in the very recent past.
If this is right as we're splitting up, hey Professor, why don't you see if there's any activity going on out there before we split up?
Right. he says, not sounding at all thrilled about being the one going to investigate, but he will do so.
It
I
with
love
your
fancy
scope.
man.
You got a big telescope. See if there's folks, running for terror, or what all's going on over there.
I thought you meant to go look into the holes. I'm much happier about that idea.
No holes. Churned earth.
I was imagining like some big like Normandy Beach craters or something. So.
That would be cool. But no.
All right, that's good.
Someone's airdropping
Yeah, he
Earth
will.
elementals.
Oh
Yo.
shit!
He will do the big look.
The big.
Big look. Yeah. Roll an extra perception check for me.
An extra perception check. Thank fucking God, because I do not have a big bonus for this character. It'll be 21.
Don't be so down on yourself, man. But at 21, you look around, you do not see any active movement. You don't see any active like furrows or anything. There's
Nothing in
anything
the
actively here.
town either.
Oh, I thought you were just looking for earth elementals. I mean, you look towards town. I mean,
gonna
there's
check the damage area and then look up to town because like if the building's
damage
on
area,
fire and there's no people moving.
Yeah, no. Like I said, and this didn't look like there was a big like battle, but it looked like there has been maybe a couple elementals have run afoul of the town and got noticed early enough that people came out to handle it, but rather than let it get to the buildings.
My /guy's thought was making sure it wasn't the conflict started here, but the town is also in ruins.
Right. No, the town seems intact. It is, as described to you, way less impressive than Crystal Grit, and Crystal Grit isn't terribly impressive visually to you in the first place. I'll say, like, from this far out, I mean, you guys are a couple miles at this point if y'all are getting ready to split up, or a mile and a half or so. You're a little bit away, but that's quite the scope you got there. So I mean, but you see figures moving around through the streets. Like you don't see like any fires. Like you don't know, like no ruin that you see at this time anyway.
Nothing out there at the moment, and it doesn't look like anything was wanton destruction. Just skirmishes, if you can call it that, with those things. Town seems alright.
Well, I guess go, make it quick, and hope we don't get attacked by elementals while you're gone.
Roger.
Y'all stay safe as well. And I I get off my horse, attach it to the professor's cart, and climb up right next to you.
All right.
And away we go.
And away you go indeed. So, my lady and gentlemen, plus our fictitious non-player lady. You ride in. I have a question. Is there do y'all have a particular, are y'all just going to go in and immediately start looking around, or do you have a goal in mind? Like, do you have a destination?
I have two goals. One, looking out for Mr. King's quarry. So the Dragonborn or the bugbear that has been, that I saw in not in Miss Bell's, the Black Diamond, right? I saw them. I didn't see them in Miss Bell's establishment, or was
they were staying at the Sunrise Saloon.
Okay, so looking for those two, and then looking for a church or anything else that may lend itself to a hallowed ground spell, or a hallowed spell rather.
Right.
If I could find a scroll, that'd be sick.
Oh man, you just stumble, it falls from the sky.
Listen, we have to ask questions as players. It is our duty.
No, absolutely. I'm not criticizing. I'm just making fun of you. They're very different things.
Guy's intent would be primarily to behave as someone fresh coming into town, so probably looking for like an inn or a tavern or something to try and speak to the locals.
All right.
And I will be with the professor, joining in on those conversations. But if Mr. Dotree suspects that he might have found something that could potentially be the a hallowed ground, to use my divine sense to do some checkabouts. So I'm just here to be persuasive with my feminine wiles.
All right.
Same.
Howdy. But you guys enter, and like I said, the town does seem to be intact. It is effectively big old plus sign. Smaller than Crystal Grit by a pretty significant margin. Scattering of buildings and things. There are people walking around attending to their business. I'm going to say kind of without a check, especially considering you guys discussed this earlier. Just easily look around. People look tired. Most people, bags under their eyes. Seem a little bit jumpy, even. Definitely when you guys start riding in, you guys are getting glances of people looking at you. Kind of hesitant, but greetings, if a little cautious, are returned.
Just kind of lean over to Callie, and that looks like it suits one theory.
I would have to agree, Professor. Let's find ourselves that saloon. We could use the fact that he knows Miss Bell to ingratiate ourselves.
Right.
Hard to miss. It is one of the only multi-story buildings in the entire town.
Mhm.
But, and quite frankly, I didn't decide what street it was on. So, y'all are coming here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoop. It's all the street y'all enter on, actually. How lucky. It's smaller than the Sunrise. It's definitely smaller than the Black Diamond. Because while the Black Diamond does not have sleeping quarters and things, they have lots of tables and things for gambling and different games. Sign on it that's worn, has not been painted in a long time, just simply explains that this is the Cracked Cart, with a very, looks like what is supposed to be an overturned mining cart on it. But you guys are easily, there's places, there are hitching posts, hitch cart. You guys just stepping on in. Also, I gotta change my music because the music I have to actively change it. Is very melancholy right now. That is not. It is not lending itself to me. Getting where we're going here. All right. What's up?
It looked like someone else was getting ready to say something. I don't want to interrupt.
No, I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah. What's going on?
If our cart is pulling up near the saloon, just kind of darling, why don't we go in and have a drink? It's been a dusty road.
I agree, my dear. Let's make our way. And I think Miss Bell had said to say something to her dear friend.
Sure.
And I
believe
stand
I
up.
shall. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna have you give me your arm so that it looks appropriate.
Yeah, he will step out, walk around to the cart. It's a cart. There's not a door, but he will behave as if there is. Lead her down. And head into the saloon.
All right. Stepping inside. Quick question. Did anybody manage for their stealth checks on their weapons manage to roll below a 15?
Negative.
No? Okay. Wonderful. Figured I'd just go ahead and get that out of the way. So all four of you, 3 plus NPC are entering?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll start off at the tavern. We'll tie up
Start with
horses and everything else. Yeah.
Tie up your cards.
Yes.
To note, as they're getting ready to go in, he would make a show of, well, it was a pleasure meeting you on the road. I was glad we had the safety of traveling together till we made it to our mutual destination.
Absolutely, my dear sir. You and your wife are a lovely couple and lovely travel companions as well.
Likewise. And then he would go into the tavern.
All right.
Saloon, rather.
Saloon. Yeah, stepping on in is not bumping. Let's get that out there. It's relatively quiet. There is low conversation kind of throughout the room. And for as little as this place is, it is pretty crowded. Like there are a fair few people here at midday. But Miss Bell had informed y'all that this is basically it for like stuff to do besides like shoot each other in the street. So you've got folks taking their drinks. Some people are eating a little bit. There is of course, the bar that is currently being manned by a little bit of an older gentleman of the kind of half-orc variety. Like his tusks are a little worn down. He also looks dead tired, just like everybody else does. Definitely get a few looks as you guys come in. And could I actually get, if I just get quick perception check from you three.
Fuck.
21.
21, nice.
Another natural 20.
Another natural 20.
And-
Wonderful.
Plus 3 this time. Plus 3. Or plus 5. Total of 25.
Natural
I
one.
forgot I was proficient.
I think this place is hallowed ground.
My
It is pretty
20,
hollow, yes.
my natural 20 and my 21. Oh, actually my 21 initially.
Mhm.
You guys do note, or that you definitely note this. You of course get this as well, guys. There's a table of 4 gentlemen that are kind of off to the left, in a back corner, that are all hunched. And while everybody does kind of glance at you guys, those 4 laser focus. Look at you guys for a few moments before turning back to their drinks. Like, definitely we're examining you guys. Geist with a natural 20 out of 25. Let's see. You will note that, so these guys are all like, they're not dressed in uniform or anything, but you do note that on the inside of, I'll say you see it, me and natural 20, they all turn in such a way that you do notice before they turn back to their beverages and their food. On the inside lapel of like one side or the other of all of their jackets or jerkins or whatever that they're wearing, they all have not a medallion. What am I thinking of? Geez Louise.
A badge?
pin?
A sheriff?
A pin.
Insignia.
Oh, okay.
An insignia or something of that nature. The exact detail of which is not a sheriff's badge. Not like you were handed off and told to, only use if you really needed it, for some legal grounds to stand on. This one is definitely more stylized. And I'll say that from what you can see from that glance, even with the natural 20, this is across the room and in passing.
Right.
It depicts a serpent of some kind. You definitely saw like what looked like in a flash on a couple of them that looked like a tail. But at the very least, they are together in some kind of organization.
Gotcha. He's a practiced individual. He won't react to it, but he will store that away for
Easy enough.
future reference.
But they seem to eye you guys over and determine that you're not a threat, basically, and then back to their business.
Are there empty tables?
Say so. Like I said, it's bumping. No, wait, I said it's not bumping. It's not bumping, but it is relatively busy. But I'd say y'all are able to find an empty table.
We'll take a seat at said table, or we'll lead his lovely lady to the table and, darling, what would you like to drink? I'm going to go see what they've got available here.
Just whatever they have, my dear.
Nonsense, go so you have a seat with your lovely wife as well as mine, and then I'll get the drinks on me for your lovely company on the road.
Why, thank
Thank
you. I do appreciate that.
And just because I know we haven't been traveling long, and in case we don't get an opportunity to speak again, as I pull up my notes that Geist definitely doesn't have to, Barrington, Morgan Barrington.
Mr. Behrend.
He will
GLS the
take
Dolce,
seat.
it's a pleasure to meet you.
Again, likewise. And he will take a seat.
You all sit. Alistair, you're going to the bar.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the bar after I get this dust out of my eyes that has clearly fallen in from when I walked in, and then I'll look up and down the bar. While I'm waiting on the bartender, I'll just sort of like, lean against the bar, look around, and try to see if I see Mr. King's quarry, Dragonborn, and Bugbear.
Dragonborn and Bugbear. I'm just gonna say no roll necessary because you can just kind of glance around. I'll say kind of with passive perception. You do notice like while people aren't like staring y'all down, they do kind of keep glancing at you guys every now and then.
I'll talk to them while I'm looking around.
Do what?
I'll talk to one if I catch their eye and they're just like staring me down. I'll say, "Hello there, sir. How are you today?"
Well, I would say I've been better.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What ails you?
Kind of squints a little bit. Bit of a sip. Roll a persuasion check for me.
That's good. I thought you were about to ask me what my AC was, so that's much better. Okay, I'm pretty good at these.
I hope y'all paid heed to when Kent said don't split the party because should have listened.
Pretty good, but rolled lowish. 15.
15?
Yeah.
Not bad. He just it does look kind of like a little squints at you for a moment before he takes that swig. And y'all must not have had much trouble on your way here, I reckon.
We had a little trouble along the way.
Must have got lucky then, or you're just a bit stupid to keep coming all the way here.
Oh, so yeah. It seems you have a story to tell me, and a story is never free. 4 shots of whiskey, please. And I'll pay for. Well, I'm so sorry. I meant that was my mistake. 5 shots of whiskey. And I'll order. 4 for my party here, and then 1 for the gentleman.
For that gentleman.
Yeah. Slide it.
Which. Of course, sir. Coming right up. The bartender does. Pours those shots. Guys. Bit suspicious, but nods his thanks. Throws it back. You're wanting a story? What kind of story you're wanting? This ain't a happy one.
I'm no stranger to tragedy.
Roll an insight check for me real quick, actually.
Surely. This is not as good. I continue to do well on the +3s though. That's a dirty 20. Natural 17.
Dirty 20. He does a really poor job of hiding it. You see him glance towards the table that you previously didn't notice as the four gentlemen sat at it. They're not currently paying you any mind that you can tell, but he does glance over that way before he continues to talk.
You have no worries about me, friend. I have no ties in this town.
He just kind of almost imperceptible shrug. Trouble came to town recently, and Earth Elemental's been acting out of sorts. A lot more activity recently. We haven't been able to go into the mine in almost a week. Nobody's making any money, not muddy. And everybody keeps having nightmares. At that, he goes back and drinks some more of his original, like the drink that he had been drinking before he took your shot. Makes it damn hard to sleep if you don't know whether it's going to be, whether it's going to make waking worse than sleeping.
Does trouble come along with any certain indicators? Again, I have no ties in this town. Any stories you tell with me, stay with me.
Roll one more persuasion check for me. We got fit. Not hard.
25.
25.
Natural 16 plus 9.
You see him glance over at that table again before he kind of waves you in closer. Gang came through with their loot. Came to town, decided they were going to stay a while, which that ain't normal. Usually if somebody when they come, pass through like wind. Maybe leave a couple bodies, maybe pick a couple up. Nothing more than that. But they've been here and staying. And since they got here that things started going wrong. Not much we can say or do about it.
This gang that came in, you know where they're staying at?
Just kind of glances around. They're around.
Anything else you know? And the reason I ask all these prodding questions, sir, is I might be able to help you out. Help you get some nice shut-eye.
He looks surprised to hear that. You think you can help? You might want to go by the sheriff's office first. Give you a bit of an idea what help looks like.
Bartender, one more shot of whiskey for my friend here. Thank you, good sir.
Pours it.
I take my shots back over to my table here. Swearing to your lovely wife, there you are, my sweet. Here you are. Here's to us and our travels, and may we all stay safe. Is it loud enough in here to have a conversation without folks overhearing us, or is maybe
mostly?
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, like I said, it's low conversation in here mostly. I mean, if somebody's really determined, they'd probably be able to eavesdrop on you, but they might have to get close enough to be noticed.
Actually, are we our proximity to the table with those four gentlemen specifically?
Hello, Mr. Jones.
Always high. Fingers up. Raise your dongers.
They're about 15 feet away from you.
Okay. All right. So not incredibly close.
Not crazy close, but they're not like all the way across the bar either.
Right. I'll just talk in some low hush tones, and if you'll allow me, like interweaving it with the occasional off-topic, louder
Sure.
statements to sort of throw them if they're listening in. But I'll relay that information to my traveling companions here.
Sure.
Yeah, everything that guy said. Said ever since this gang came into town, apparently, with whatever artifacts that they've brought in, it's been causing some of these nightmares. So it seems our missions here may be intertwined, and it may also complicate things in the sense that Mr. Sinclair, if he does want these things back in his possession, it may cause some troubles in Crystal Grid of the same variety. That's conjecture. I have no clue.
I guess we shall see. I turn like my body towards Mr. Dotree and the professor and go, try to like conceal what I'm doing, but I'm gonna, hearing that like the 4 men are clearly up to no good, I'm gonna try to like, not try, I am going to use my divine sense to see if I get anything while I'm sitting in here, but like try to conceal it of, I don't know if anybody can see this magic. It's
As far as I'm aware, not really. This is just
yeah.
you can just do
Yeah.
it.
So, but it's like, I have to, Callie activates it by like using her little focus thing. So I'm like leaning into the professor to like hide and just go, my dear, yes, thank you. I'm gonna see if I can pick up on anything while we are having this lovely conversation, Mr.
Of course, darling.
Alistair. And yeah, I'm gonna use my divine sense to pick up on anything.
Celestials, fiends, and undead. Or is there Fey, fiends, and undead?
Yes, within 60 feet.
Within 60 feet. Not within 60 feet of you. Scan. Nothing.
While she's doing that, I assume it takes a minute. I'd like to try.
6 seconds.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a minute.
It's an action.
Yeah, it's an action.
Gotcha. I'll be trying to listen in to their conversation at the other table.
Roll a perception check. And while you roll that, hold on to that information, because we're going to take a quick bounce out real quick. And I would like to know what the out squad, ladies and gentlemen, what are you guys doing with your time out on the edge of town?
Despite Clyde being perceivably on the cusp of catching the killers of his son and potential killers and maybe kidnappers of his wife, he is in good spirits and hanging out with Turnip, just playing with her and having a really great time.
Okay.
It seems very it seems like he's like, I don't know if I'm going to live. I'm going to play with this dog because I don't know how magic works and it could live forever. So
All right. Playing with the dog.
Yep.
Cerebel will attempt to memorize just the layout of the land surrounding the town and the beginning stages of the town. So I know she couldn't document the towns
Right.
if she hadn't been in there.
Right. Unfortunately, memorizing the landscape, really easy.
Nice.
It's flat. That too on the percentiles really just said
Flat.
it's flat. And I mean, while you can't get detailed looks at, I mean, the entire town, like I said, it is relatively small. It's more of almost a village than a town. Kind of like an up jump village. But you're able to see like even some of the bigger buildings, like making out outlines and stuff. So absolutely, you can be kind of trying to get a feel for that. Anything that Belle's doing?
I double clicked. Mute. No. So Belle's been there before, right? So not a lot, but like a couple of times,
Yeah.
right? To like pick up stuff or whatever. So she probably would have like taken a stick and drawn out for Sarabelle to see that right there. That's this, or presumably things haven't changed a lot.
Yeah, not
Because
really.
it's not really room. Yeah. And then other than that, I think she would have Gus with her, and she would cast Primeval Awareness to sense whether there are any aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead within 1 mile.
1 mile. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, within up to 6 miles.
Is this your
'cause I'm in
favorite
my
terrain?
favorite terrain. Yep, the desert is. Yes.
6 miles.
That might
Hell
actually. I was like,
6 miles, a much larger distance.
I was gonna say that
6 times, in fact.
it might be counterintuitive because it's like so far that it just skips up every random little thing, but
High, low, Miss Bell.
always high.
And I will say, and this is the unfortunate thing about Primeval Awareness, is it doesn't give you a location. You just
Right.
know that it is in
It's
that
just
area.
yes to everything. Oh, good.
Within 6 miles.
Luckily, that's a really small
That's
area
flat.
to search.
And we can see it all because it's flat.
Exactly.
I will say, yes to fiends, yes to undead. Within 6 miles of you.
Okay. So she'll share that with Clyde and Sarabelle.
All right.
Which may be hopeful for Clyde. I don't know. Maybe a little yes, maybe a little no. But yeah. Other than that, I think she would probably just kind of be looking over the town, trying to notice if, if she sees any differences. She's probably not super thrilled about the party being split up after all the stuff from last time. So just trying to get a good sense of, is there a place to run? Where can we camp for tonight? Like, are they coming back? What are we doing? That kind of stuff. Little random roaming with Gus.
All right. Whiling away time, maybe trying to plan. Being worried in general on the out squad, or being very not worried, apparently, in the case of Clyde. We'll make our way back into town. What was the total on that perception check?
19, 16 plus 3.
19. Very nice. Huh? You're just trying to kind of listen in on their conversation.
Hmm.
Some of it is just kind of inane. I'll say, they're just kind of like, I'll say like some comments from the same, like, they're fucking tired. Like, they're tired. I'll say they did make a few comments on like having to fend off like these fucking aggressive ass earth elementals. Like this fucking, it's like, those fuckers can eat lead like nobody's business, and why there's so many of them is beyond them. They don't get it. But then kind of cutting into his comments on, Granger says that we don't have to be here too much longer. Hopefully. And if that fucking necromancer type start pulling their fucking weight, maybe we can leave sooner. I'd like that. I know you would too. But did it say how much longer exactly? What are we waiting for? Don't ask questions. You just follow his orders. I mean, he's done led us right. We've done good for ourselves so far. Yeah, well, we can't do good for ourselves if we're fucking dead. If those earth elementals keep coming like they have, we're not going to last much longer. And you know he's already going to know what's happened, or he's at least going to suspect. He's not stupid. Granger knows that. Granger's, he says he'll be fine. Be long gone by the time anybody gets sent up this way. Kind of. Probably that's going to be the most interesting exchange.
Gotcha.
So,
DM, what would I know
Yes, ma'am.
about the reach of the consortium?
in what regard?
So I'm trying to figure out as to a reason why we would be here, and if Callie would think of using sort of her knowledge about the consortium and going to the sheriff and saying that, like, the consortium's looking to expand in sort of these further reaches of, and that's sort of why the professor and I are here. We're scouting out, like we're representatives or something. Like, is that something that happens?
Not particularly.
Okay.
Kind of the way that you say, you're talking about the reach of the consortium. The consortium's reach is the entirety of the settled land of Eucryptidal, outside of like criminal activity and like smuggling and when crime crops up. Their kind of their network of power is based in, they don't really have any actual members that are out in the frontier lands. Almost the entirety of their actual members are nested within the coastal cities.
Okay.
And then sheriffs are locally appointed locals. They are non-members that are elected to power by the consortium to enforce their laws within their towns. And occasionally either to just do checkups, or if they hear about shit getting sideways, like if some like particular gang is causing a lot of trouble, like it's almost like an uprising. They will send out marshals accompanied by a posse of their members and like mercenaries. Marshals being the law. Like they are the official representatives. They are judge, jury, and executioner when they are out and about.
Okay. So then my idea is completely useless. Never mind. I just wanted to check, because I was like, why are we here?
Those are the only official members of the consortium. I mean, there are the law representatives of the law of the consortium. There are other members, but they just would be basically because the Arcane Commerce Consortium controls magical information, magical resources, and things. So it's entirely possible that there could be someone who was what's the word I'm looking for?
Like a prospector?
Or yeah, or like a prospector, or like an archaeologist, or somebody who was wanting to research like old magics, or was wanting to look into things. They wouldn't be the law.
Right. This was mostly just like Callie trying to think of like what she would remember from her dad talking about, and try to utilize any of that information while we're here.
Basically,
to gain
any official, like any endorsed like venture, it would have come through the consortium to some extent.
Okay.
Because they have to rubber stamp it.
Okay.
So, lady and gentlemen.
Well, Mr. Barrington, it was again lovely traveling with you. I think me and my paramour here are going to see what the city of Picton has to offer as far as sights go. We're going to take a walk.
Of course, and I have some private conversations to have with my fiancée.
I'm going to head out with Agatha, looking for. We've pretty much confirmed that Granger is somewhere in the area,
100%,
which means King's Quarry is here somewhere. So I'm going to be looking for two things. One, again, somewhere with hallowed ground, and this may be one and the same. A Church of the Radiant, where those folks were coming from.
Okay.
Um,
That's where you're heading. What are you two doing?
Before you go, he'll just kind of reach out as you're walking off, put a hand on your arm. Oh, and are you going to be in town for a couple of days at least?
We'll see how it pans out, but I believe that's the plan at the moment.
Those song lyrics you were asking about, once I get the chance to go through my luggage, if I dig them up, if I see you about, they're yours.
Thank you so much.
No problem. About that luggage, dear, I'm going to see about a room. He's going to stand and head to the bartender.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you? What, sir? Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
My fiancée and I,
Drink, food.
tired, it's been a long day. Do you know a place where we could lay our heads?
I have a couple
Probably
rooms.
for several nights.
I have a couple rooms I rent out.
Right here, excellent. It's convenient. What do you charge?
If you can sleep in them. Jesus Christ, fucking economics, silver a night, he says.
Very well. And he will take out 2 silver and slide them across to the gentleman. Be simple as handing you more money if we have to stay for longer.
That's right. Though, friendly advice, I wouldn't stay.
Well, how's this if we end up needing to depart early? Silver's yours to keep regardless. I won't ask for a refund. Just gives him a friendly nod. Where do I find? Where do I find these rooms?
He directs you. They're kind of on the same floor. Kind of back down a very short hallway, so there's like some semblance of it being separated, but barely.
Come, darling. Let's get you sat down. I'll carry the bags here in just a moment.
All right, my dear. And like I swoosh over,
Flounce even.
flounce, sachet, make my way through. As we're heading into the room, I lean over, make to look like I'm gonna give him a kiss, and then whisper, like, to the professor, "Do you have counterfeit papers?"
Darling, let's save the sweet nothings for privacy. I don't want to put on a show for free, you know.
Of course, my dear. Yeah.
So,
And then we'll go back to
step into y'all's rooms. Mr. Dotry, you're looking for a church, right?
Yep, I assume it may be one and the same, but doesn't necessarily have to be. I'm looking for something that may have had the hallowed spell cast on it, as well as...
Are you casting like detect magic or anything to try and...
I don't have that, so I would look for places that I would recall from the roll earlier that may have the spell on it. And I assume I'd have to ask somebody.
Yeah.
Or,
Roll
or
quick
investigate
investigation
it
check.
further. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily great at these. Oh, I have a +5 to these. That's not bad. It's bad when you roll a 4. That's 9 total.
9.
Yeah, you know what? I will... I don't know if it'll make a difference, but I'll add one of
You
my
can add
d6
one of your-
for the day.
Gotcha. Sure.
That's a 2, so that's 11.
It's not a big place, thankfully. Can you roll a perception check for me as well while you're walking and looking?
21.
21. Okay. Just hold on to that. It takes you a while, but ultimately what it boils down to is because this place doesn't look like a fucking church. Like it's not built up. It is a building. Like it is like a shack. You know those like little like one room churches you see out and about in rural Georgia. It's like that, but maybe even a little smaller. And it doesn't even have a cross or anything. Or I don't know what it doesn't have the big like cupped, hands holding the sun that is the symbol of the radiant or anything on it.
No, darling, that's just the outhouse. Let's keep walking.
Not in any big anything, but there is this little one room thing. I'll say like you ask a couple questions, and you're directed to like this small building is where the handful of worshippers of the Radiant have held their prayers and good Lord, the English language is hard, but where they gather.
Cool. Is there anyone around?
Ilo.
Always.
No. I rolled literally a 1.
No one's around.
It is deserted right now. Completely deserted.
I'll give it a look around if I can. Knock on the door. If it's not locked, walk inside, look around. Does it seem like it would be something like Hollowed Grown or no?
From what you can tell, you wouldn't think so.
Okay.
From what you know of like the hallow spell, like you really doubt it. It seems like this is a place that if it was to kind of collect that holy energy naturally, not enough people would do it, and this looks kind of like a little crappy place. You don't see any immediate evidence of somebody having cast that spell.
Right. I'm gonna hang out.
Just gonna hang out there?
I'm gonna hang out for like... Ooh, Mr. Dotry's a selfish man. More selfish than I am. Well, I want to get that information over to... What's his name? I think Dotry would actually be... Dotry's gonna hang out for 2 hours.
2 hours. Okay.
See if anybody comes by. If not, he'll grow bored by then.
Hanging out for those 2 hours, kind of pondering, thinking, mulling this all over.
Planning.
I'd say probably about a half hour later, you've been so focused and then looking for people, but just something with that 21 perception just kind of draws your eye. And you look at the building across the street from you. It looks abandoned. Like, wow, broken windows. Like, this place got, like, just nobody lives there, nobody stays there anymore. Your eyes are drawn up to the sign up at the top. It says sheriff. And you realize those are bullet holes in the front of the building. And there's blood spattered on the front porch. And that is what we're in tonight's session.
Wait a second, what?
I did not realize it was 11 o'clock.
It is. It's 11:05. Holy cow.
Over. Oh
Yeah,
no.
a little bit over. Well, anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I hope y'all had fun. I know I didn't know this is pretty slow. We're slow burning, maybe slower than Western should be. We'll make sure to fucking. I'm sure. I mean, actually,
I'll
whether
shoot
it gets
somebody real quick if you want me
whether
to.
it gets really rootin' tootin' is kind of up to you guys, but I can try.
Someone does a 19
to
hit
shoot
the
a stranger.
Yeah, does a 19 hit 'em?
They're dead. They're dead.
The first guy
but
walks
anyway.
in the church.
But yeah, hope you guys had fun. I know I did. Thank you guys as always for joining me. We'll still be coming back next week, so be sure to catch us again next Wednesday for Whispers in the Dust, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and of course on Saturdays, starting again on this Saturday, is our Across Eberron campaign, which is dungeon mastered by our lovely Johnsy, Mr. Dotry, fantasy god. And that's a rootin' that's not a rootin' shooting point and shooting good time. I only got one arm. It is bad. There I got blown up. We about started a fight with the fucking the like the EMS services that were on hand. It was wild. But yeah, come see us for that, which that's at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard on Saturdays. So come see that for sure. And of course, donate to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Do help the kids. Open your heart wallets, lawful kind. And we are gonna raid our friends over here at Lost Initiative. They do TTRPG things as well. Spread the love to them. So communities stick together. TTRPG together strong. Yeah. And we'll see y'all later. Bye.